Atheism makes no sense to you, correct? Uh, okay. Now, what were you gonna say? Go ahead and continue. Hmm. Hmm. Right. I'm sorry to interrupt you. The two guests who are in the box right now, I'm going to bring you up right after David. Just give me about 10 to 15 minutes. I give everyone 10 to 15 minutes. So give me about 10 to 15 minutes with David, and I'll get to you guys. All right. I do see y'all in the box. Brock and doesn't make sense. I see you in the box, so I'll bring you up right after David. All right, so David, let's go ahead and put 15 minutes on the clock. Now, you said that there are things in atheism that doesn't make sense. What are those things? Because atheism, well, let me ask you, what do you think atheism actually is? No, that's not it. No, that's not correct. Atheism is simply the rejection of God beliefs. That's really all it is. I've met people who identify as atheists. They don't believe in any gods, but like they think like astrology and stuff like that is real. I reject all God claims until the burden of proof has been met. Well, it came from a Catholic priest. That doesn't mean that the Big Bang in of itself came from the Catholic religion. It just came from a priest who happened to be Catholic. The thing is, everything else that you told me, I'm not exactly even sure what you mean. Yeah, there are issues within humanity that we can't just use hard science to solve. But so what? That doesn't mean that a God necessarily solves it. No, it doesn't. Like we've seen that belief in the because you have to ask yourself belief in which God, because once that happens, people get pissed off at each other and lots of bad things happen. Like we've seen that with the Crusades. We've seen that in Africa right now. We've seen that plenty of places where even misinterpretations or different interpretations of that God belief leads to problems. So it's not necessarily believing in a God that's going to solve anything. It's really just humanity working together and being collaborative, and trying to solve our issues. We don't necessarily have to believe in God in order for that to happen. What's happened to Marx? Marx died. That's all happened. What, Marxism? Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, Marx came up with Marxism, and as far as what we've seen, Marxism never really got really off the ground, except for the USSR. There were some mistakes in state socialism, sure, but what does that say all about having a God belief or not? Because there are plenty of so so what? No, it wasn't. Like atheism existed before communism did. Empiricus, from the ancient Greeks, was an atheist. Like, are you gonna say that ancient Greece failed or something? Like, I don't get it. Like, it's not about a religion that creates a society, because you can have a religion that creates society, and you can have a society that has little to no religion and still be successful, like Japan, for example. They in Japan, the largest religion is Shintoism, but only about a quarter to about 30% of the society actually follows it. The rest of the society is more like ambivalent. They even classify themselves as none. You know what I mean? Like they really have no religion. It's not really as important over there because Shintoism is more of a way of life than an actual religion. It's just classified as one. But even in that, Shintoism is not like the structured religion that we have over here on the West. Right, I understand that. Give me one more second. I do see y'all in the box. I do see people requesting in the box. I'm going to bring people one up at a time. Just give me about 15 minutes with David. I have about 10 minutes left with David, and I'll bring the rest of you guys up. Okay, just one at a time. But yeah, what were you saying, David? Yeah, there were. I don't deny that, but there's Christians in Japan. But my entire argument is that Christianity or any religion isn't really necessary for a society to function or exist. There are societies out there that we know about that are not religious at all or have very little religion, and they're fine. Like we don't actually need it. So like that's really my argument for like until it meets its burden of proof, then I'll be glad to believe it tomorrow. But like until then, I have no reason for it. You can have morality without belief in a god, though. So, so sure it does. Yeah, it does. What I'm not even sure what do you mean how like how Marx doesn't matter. Marx doesn't matter. Marx is not the president of atheism. I don't know why you keep bringing up Marx. So what? So was Nietzsche. All right, but like they don't matter. Now, what I'm saying is that just because Marx idea of Marxism hasn't proven to be completely successful, and there's reasons for that. It's not just because he's an atheist. Like the reason why Marxism hasn't been successful because of other like historical reasons. Like every single time that socialism is created in another country, the West tries to quash it out. It happened in Africa like plenty of times, and it happened in Europe plenty of times. You know what I'm saying? And it happened over in Asia. Every time like a nation tries to, experiment with socialism or communism, the West always crushed it out. But that doesn't mean that atheism in of itself is therefore untenable because communism is a certain way. Like that makes no sense. Just because Marx is an atheist and you don't like Marxism doesn't mean that atheism in of itself is untenable. Marx doesn't matter. He's not the president of atheism. We don't praise Marx. But it can. Why do we have social order in places like Japan and in the Czech Republic? The Czech Republic is 55% atheist. So how do we have social order over there? The Czech Republic is one of the most peaceful countries in the world. So how do we have social order in the Czech Republic, a 50% atheist country, a 55% atheist country, and growing every day? It's probably 60% right now, and it's atheist. Well, how do you explain that? What do you mean promote abortion? That wouldn't matter if they didn't promote if they promoted abortion or not. The claim is you're saying that you can't have social order under an atheistic mindset, but we have. I for example gave you two countries that have no type of religious order are likely more atheist. The Czech Republic definitely is about 55 to 60% atheist, and they have social order. They're one of the most peaceful countries on the entire planet. How would you explain that? Exactly, and that's exactly my problem. You can't be making these claims. You have no idea what you're talking about, bro. Like that is one of the things that annoys me. You feel me? Because it's like, do y'all actually look up what you actually believe? Because if you're gonna say that atheism can't have social order, but then I give you an example of an atheist country that does have social order, that blows your entire argument out the water. You want to be off the subject? You're the one who brought up social order. Okay. What's immoral about it? They have less crime. They have less crime than we do. They have less poverty than we do. What's immoral? I don't know, and that wouldn't matter. Who cares? No, it's not. So yeah, it's irrelevant. If a country had 50 million abortions a year, but zero murders, and another country had banned abortion, so there's zero abortions a year, but they have 70,000 murders a year, which one are you gonna live in? No, it's not. There is structure. Just because someone says that they don't classify murder abortion as murder does not mean that there's no structure. It's just structure that you don't like. So what though? All right. So what makes something correct or not correct? Because the Bible has abortion in it. Yeah, it was. It literally says that if a man suspects a woman of cheating on him, he can give her a certain thing to abort the fetus. And if she's innocent, then the fetus won't abort. But if she's guilty, it is going to abort. So there's an abortion law right there, and I forgot where it was. I think it was in Deuteronomy or somewhere. But like I could bring it up. But yeah, abortion. But Christianity came from the Hebrew religion. What are we talking about? But why would that matter? Does the Old Testament not matter anymore? But the Old Testament came from the New Testament. So you're saying that the yeah, the New Testament came from the Old Testament. Wow. So how can you say that the Old Testament doesn't matter? You're saying that the Ten Commandments don't matter either now? No, it wasn't. The Old Testament is just a history of the Israeli people. Yeah, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Jesus didn't do anything. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. If Jesus brought social order, how do we have social order before Jesus? That makes no sense. Listen to the question that I asked you. If Jesus is the one who brought social order, why was there social order before Jesus? Yes. Okay, so how are you defining social order? Because the way I'm defining social order is a society that's mainly productive and mainly peaceful. We had that before Jesus. We had What I'm saying is that we had morality and we had all that before Jesus. The Ten Commandments, for example, everything in the Ten Commandments you can find in the Code of Hammurabi, which was thousands of years before him. What was changed to the two commandments? Jesus didn't say he was taking out any commandments. No, he said to I didn't come to abolish the law, but fulfill it. No, that's not. No, the Jewish people executed him because he was committing blasphemy. Yeah, he was. He said he was God and under but he's not. How? How is he? That makes that you're just saying it. How do you show that he's God? Yeah, it's a dogma. I'm asking, how do you actually prove that to be true? I don't care what that is. I'm asking you, how do you prove that to actually be true? No, no, no. You're simply saying what it is. I'm asking you, how do you show it to be true? Just repeating, "Oh, this is what it is not. It doesn't say anything to me. I'm asking you, how do you show it to be true? Do you see the second point here? Do you see the second point here? It says, faith isn't a reliable pathway to the truth. No, it's not. I can prove it. Okay. I take it on faith, completely on faith, that you abuse your wife. Is that true? No, I'm taking it on faith. Therefore, it's true. Exactly. That's why faith is not a pathway to truth. Exactly. That's what faith is. You're just saying stuff and saying that it's true. Yeah, you are. That's what exactly what it is. That's what faith literally is. Faith is literally, I'm going to believe this despite no evidence or evidence to the contrary. I have no evidence that you're I have no evidence that you're a domestic abuser. I'm just gonna say it and I have faith in it, and therefore it's true. Does that make sense? That's the problem. But I'm taking it complete. I could take it completely on faith right now that you're a domestic abuser. It doesn't make it true. It is relevant. Do you want me to take another example? Do you know who David Duke is? You know who David Duke is? Yeah, he was a grand wizard of the KKK. You know who that is? He took it 100% on faith that because of my skin color, I'm less smart than white people. Was he right? No, he took that you're not answering my question. Was he right or was he wrong? Exactly. But he took it completely on faith. That's why faith isn't a reliable pathway to truth. You can take something 100% on faith and be wrong about it. I can give you a third example. You want me to give you a third example? All right. The third example is the Greeks. Know what the Greeks are, right? Okay. So the Greeks believed in Zeus. They believed in Poseidon. They believed in Aphrodite. 100% on faith. Were they right? Exactly. No. That's the problem with faith in of itself. The Christian faith is faith. Like I said before, you can be completely wrong. No, faith is the opposite of reason. No, they don't. Yeah, if I truly believe it. What do you mean? Faith and reason do not go hand in hand. Reason is literally the opposite of faith, literally. Can you prove that? That's not evidence of anything. How do you prove that Christ resurrected from the dead? How do you prove that? Historical evidence of yeah, but what I'm saying is that just because they haven't found this one person's body does not necessarily mean that he resurrected. Doesn't mean that. All right, now I'm not saying that you can have a reason for your faith, but that does not make the reason sound. No. You're misunderstanding. You're mixing up terms. There are two different forms of reason. There's reason where like the philosophical sense of reason, and there's the esoteric sense of reason. Like I can have a reason to believe this, right? That doesn't make the reason good, or doesn't make the reason sound. You don't have a sound reason. You're just saying that, hey, this I read this in a book and it made me feel good, therefore I believe it. The Muslims could say the same thing. You're not Muslim. So what makes your reason better than theirs? Right. How do you prove that he actually raised from the dead? Saying that no one found his body is so what? They never found the body of my great grandfather. Is he the Messiah? What if he did? Right. Jesus hasn't proved it. You cannot prove that Jesus rose from the dead. You can't prove it. They never found my great grandfather's body. Yeah, he did. Right. I never heard of Jesus. Do you see how ridiculous this is getting? For 3,000 years people claimed that Zeus was the lord of the sky. Was it true? There's no evidence for Jesus. Can you give me the proof for that he did? Yeah, I know we're going in circles because you're not understanding it. Can you actually show me that Jesus rose from the dead? How do you actually show me that? Saying that they never found his body doesn't matter. Hold on, listen. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people throughout history where they never found their body. Jesus is not special just because he claimed to be a God. That's the claim. I'm asking for. That's the claim. I'm asking for the evidence. Do you have evidence? Saying they never found his body is not evidence that he actually was a God. And that's the problem. Faith is not a reliable pathway to truth because again, you can't prove that. That's not proof. So that's not proof. There's no reason to believe that just because he said it. If I told you right now that I have $10 million in the Bahamas, are you gonna believe me just because I said so? Right. And if I just told you, you just gotta believe me. So what? By your faith, you're gonna be a millionaire because I have 10 million in the Bahamas. Are you just gonna take that at my word at it? But he didn't. But he didn't prove anything. All he did was die. That's it. Prove it. Prove it. Why are we going in circles? That's not evidence, bro. That is not evidence. How do you know that? Because he himself said that and he himself said that there's not one person who will pass away before I come back, and all of them passed away. So he lied. It's in the book. I think it's in the book of Matthew. When he was talking to his disciples. He says that there's not one here who will see their death before I resurrect and before I come back to save the world. He said that I think in the book of Matthew. No, that's not what he said. He said that they will not pass away before he comes back. They all passed away and he never came back. Yeah, sure, okay. Give me a second, cause there's a lot of those. Yeah, sure. I can. Yeah, sure. All right. We're just about at 20 minutes. You have any last thing for me? But you, I appreciate it. All right. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the next person up. All right, I have doesn't make sense, and then Ari, you're gonna be right after doesn't make sense. All right. All right, doesn't make sense. You there? I'm all right. You over 18 for TikTok purposes? All right, cool. You disagree with anything I have on the board? No. Do I believe they're headphones? No. I know they're headphones because they're on my head. No, because they work through electronics. No, I'm not lying. These are what these we label these. Someone invented these and they called them headphones. It's not a lie. What are you talking about? These were invented by someone and someone labeled them headphones. So they're headphones. What are you talking about? That doesn't matter if they can speak or not. They're not sentient. They're not sentient. They can't tell me that they're headphones, but the person who created them can. Because the person who actually made them called them that. What are we talking about here? Because the person who created them, the person who made these things, they said, I'm going to call this headphones. So they decided these were headphones are, and then we all accepted it. Because the person who invented them, I'm not going to keep repeating myself, bro. Get to your point. Yes, they are. That doesn't matter. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Get to your point, bro. No, it's not. The only way for a person to tell you what they are is for that person to tell you what they are. These things are not sentient. They can't talk. They can't tell us anything. So we have to label them. No, they are headphones because that's what we labeled them. What are we talking about here, bro? Like you're going in circles. You're not making any type of sense. We labeled these headphones. We labeled this a microphone. We labeled what we're doing right now a phone. That's what we labeled it. That's all it means. We labeled this entire app TikTok. We labeled the way that we communicate through this app GPS, global positioning system. We just put those labels on it, okay? Because these things are not sentient. They can't tell us themselves. Of course they can't because like they have no type of consciousness. They have no sentience. We label those things. We label inanimate objects. What is your point? I don't understand what you're saying. Because we're not lying. Just because we label something, and because that thing doesn't have sentience, and we need to communicate, and we put that label on it, doesn't make it a lie. We have to communicate, and those things don't talk because they don't have sentience. So we put the label on it. Are you trolling me right now, bro? Like, this has nothing to do with anything. You're not. That's the problem. What is your point with this? I'm not understanding what you're trying to say. Okay, I'm gonna go down this line of trolling. What is it then? Okay, I appreciate you being up here, man. All right, so Ari, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you up next. You had a lot to say in the chat. Let's go ahead and have a talk. What's going on? Are you over 18 for TikTok purposes? All right, cool. What did you disagree with exactly? Mm-hmm. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to the chat. Talk to me.
Logical fallacy.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the fallacy of appealing to ignorance?
Sure.
Okay. So, for you to say there is no good evidence for God, that's appealing to ignorance, which is a logical fallacy.
Give me one.
No, that's it.
No, it's not appealing to a logical fallacy. There's no good evidence.
Which is the definition of the logical fallacy of appealing to ignorance.
No, it's not appealing to ignorance. I'm claiming that there is no good evidence. If you have one, then go ahead and prove me wrong. Give me one.
Claim that there is no good evidence to prove something else that people have evidence of internally. That's appealing to the ignorance of yourself and the other people in the room, because you're saying you can't prove it, and so therefore it doesn't exist. That is the definition of
No, I'm saying that their what they claim is evidence is not good. That's what I'm claiming.
Okay. Oh, sorry. One moment. Oh no. Oh no. My Alexa wants to keep reminding me of some things. But yeah. So what I'm saying is, the idea of atheism is like a religion unto itself, when Christianity.
No. Go back to what I said. Go back to what I said before. What I'm saying is that the evidence that they claim that they have is not good evidence, so it's not a appeal to fallacy. I'm saying that what they claim is good evidence is not good evidence.
Right. But what I'm saying to you is that you don't experience that evidence is not the reason that there is no evidence, even though you're saying whatever everyone else has said before me. So I'll tell you something differently.
No. Because like
So
when we look at that, the reason why I say it's not good evidence is because you can make that claim towards anything.
Right, but that's exactly why the appeal to ignorance is not a good, valid reason to say something else.
It's not an appeal to ignorance. I'm accepting that they have an experience. What I'm saying is that just because they had an experience with something does not make what they're claiming the experience about true.
Right, and we're not saying it's true for you. Like you may.
No, I'm saying it's not true at all. Just because I can have an experience of Zeus right now, that doesn't make Zeus real.
Okay, so what I'm saying to you is I can't say that either. I can't tell you Zeus is not real for you.
No,
What I'm saying
you
is
can
logically.
because
No, I can't.
Zeus has an actual thing. Zeus has an actual description. He's the Lord of the
Correct.
sky who lives on top of Mount Olympus. We've been to Mount Olympus. We see no Zeus, so there is
Right.
no
So,
evidence of Zeus. So when I
okay, so
say there is
can
no
I
good
finish saying what
evidence,
I'm
that's
saying?
exactly what I mean.
Can I finish saying what I'm saying?
Okay, go ahead.
I can't deny that, is my point. If you come to me and say, I had an experience with Zeus and he is my God and he gives me the strength to wake up every day, what point, like, what does it benefit me to go to you for something that I can't know is really your head? Because also, you could have a mental, you know, ability that's causing you to have this very real interaction that you don't understand how it's happening. In everything, in every fiber of your being, that thing is now real. So, what does it benefit me to tell you the thing that you know is real isn't real?
Okay, it's not about benefit or not benefit. It's about the claim.
Right. So, what I'm saying is, I can't disprove that it is real in your reality, in your mind. Do
No,
you see what I'm saying?
no,
So, why
we
would I
actually,
do that?
no, we no. What I'm saying is this. All right, I
Hmm.
accept that a person had an experience. Right. No one is saying that you didn't have an experience. I'm even gonna go ahead and give you. Yeah,
Then
you
it's
experience.
real.
Give me. Let me finish. I'll even give the
You've
person.
interrupted me
Let me
so many
finish.
times. I'm trying to let you finish.
I'll
Go
give the
ahead.
person. I'll give the person that what they experience. I'll give the person that they experienced something, right? And I'll go ahead and give them that you label that experience this thing. That's all good and well. That doesn't mean that that thing that you're labeling that experience as is actually real in the real world. Because if you're saying that this thing exists and it actually interacts with the universe in some tangible way, we should all be able to experience that thing. And
No.
if we can't, we can logically deduce that what you're experiencing is not real.
So, no. So, I have
Yes.
an example of this. So, let's say there is a person who is blind. Okay. All of the blind people can then get together and say, all of these people are claiming they see things when we are so sure you cannot see. We can feel, we can taste, we can hear, but all of these seeing, they say they can see, but they have this sense about them that's telling them something else is going on around them. Why is it that we should believe them? And the case is the same with this. This is like another sense.
Okay,
Okay, like
that's easy to
let me
respond
finish.
to.
Let me finish. There's like a sixth sense, right? It's kind of like dimension, where there's a first, second, third dimension, then the fourth goes in. So if the sixth dimension goes in and there's an experience happening, it is a bit short-sighted to go back to the blind reference to think a experience that you can experience, that even scripture says not everyone will experience, that you should somehow also experience the thing that you're not supposed to or unable to experience.
Okay, I can explain this in a very, very easy way. It's called consistency. So let's say that half of the population. Let's go with your
Oh, no, no, no.
Hold on, wait, let me finish.
That's
Let's
hypothetical.
go
That's
with. Let's go
hypothetical.
with. I'm going with your
That's
hypothetical. I am going with a
no.
hypothetical.
Please don't,
I'm
because
going to go with your
it's
hypothetical.
pointless.
No, no,
It's
no. It's not
pointless.
pointless. I'm going to
It's
respond.
pointless
No, it's
because
not. No,
it's
it's not. No, it's not. It's
rhetorical.
not pointless. It's
It
not
was
pointless. No,
rhetorical, and
I
everyone
understand
wants
that.
to
I understand that it's
bag off
rhetorical.
that one
Let me
because
respond
it's
to it. Let me respond to your
rhetorical.
rhetorical.
No,
Yes, I'm going to
that's
respond to your
rhetorical.
rhetorical.
I
I'm going to
get
respond
it.
to your rhetorical.
That's halfway
I am
through.
going to
You didn't
respond to your
finish.
rhetorical. I'm going
That's
to
not
respond to your rhetorical. Okay, so according to you, let's say there's a whole bunch of blind people. I'm going to give you that about
half.
half the planet is
That's true.
blind.
I'm going
Let's
to
go
give
ahead
you
and
up.
give you that half the planet is blind, right? What we can do is something
I know
called
you really
consistency.
want this.
What we
You
can do is
want
something
this.
called consistency. So,
That's
like,
not the
let's
question.
if half the population is blind, and they don't understand that there's actual sense out there, that there's an actual sense out there about seeing. How would they actually show that to be
You,
true? The way that we show that to be true is to show
the question
consistency in
is,
what the
the
person is
answer
seeing.
is
For example, we can have an
what is
example of, okay, we have a tree.
why
Is the and if a one person says that the tree is
you're
actually
being
green, if one person says that the tree is actually
why
green,
are
if the
you
one person says the tree is actually green, be
I'm
quiet,
talking
be quiet, be quiet. I'm going to respond to your
to
rhetorical. I'm going to respond to your rhetorical.
please
I gave you your example. Let me respond to it.
please
I gave you your example.
good
Let me respond to it. I'll let
a
you get your responsible
rhetorical
off. Let me respond to it. I'll let you get your.
not
Don't come
your
off mute again. Don't come off mute again.
I'm
Do
not
not come off mute again.
you
Do not come off mute again. Do
I'm not
not
on
come
mute.
off mute. You come off mute one more time. I'm just drop you. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for being up here. So this is how we can show that this is how we can show that that being false, okay? So let's, in her example, there are blind people and they can't understand that there are people who can actually see. The way that we can show that sight is an actual thing is through consistency. For example, if someone is blind and they say, hey, a person who can see says, hey, a tree is green. I can see the tree and it's green, right? It's a color called green. All the blind people have to do is make sure that's consistent. All you have to do is ask 1,000 more people, 1,000,000 more people, 2,000,000 more people, is what that person said true? Is the tree green? If they all consistently say yes, the tree is green, then we can have something going on, right? Then we can have something going on that shows that there's another sense that they don't have because it's consistent. Within religion, we don't have that. Within religion, we don't have that. Everything else is inconsistent. All right, y'all. Let's see if there's anyone else out there. All right, y'all. Go ahead and keep liking the live and keep sharing it. Keep liking the live and keep sharing it. Y'all keep liking the live and keep sharing it, y'all. What you got, babe? Wings? Okay. All right, y'all. Keep liking the live. Keep sharing it. Let's try to go ahead and get some more people in here. Let's try to get some more people in here. Let's try to get some more debates going. I appreciate everybody that's here. All right, y'all. I do appreciate y'all being here. I'm gonna go ahead and put up a live goal, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and put up a goal right now. If you'd like to support more of this, I have 3 subscribers right now. I do have a goal up. If you want to go ahead and help me hit my goal, go ahead and please hit me up and let me hit my goal. If we don't get any more, if you want, okay, Ari, I'm gonna bring you back up. Let's do this. I'm gonna bring you back up, right? Let's talk about evolution. Let's go ahead and talk about evolution. I'm gonna bring you back up. I'll bring you back up, Ari. I invite you right back up.
So
Okay, so
that
what
was
about
the
evolution?
question. That was the question that you didn't actually answer.
What was the
I was
question?
giving, okay, I'll say it again. So, in the case of people not sharing senses, I was just a preamble to the actual question, which was about evolution. So, what I said was, in the case that they have this sixth sense, this evolutionary process has begun and started in the human. And then now we have an ability that you have not yet attained in your evolutionary development. How is it that you feel that this thing doesn't exist just because you have not yet evolved to that place? That was the question, and you answered the preamble to the question.
That's not how evolution works. That's my answer.
Okay.
No, what you're saying is not how evolution works.
Okay, you are all knowing, and so I
I'm
think
not all knowing. I'm just letting you know that's not how
no,
evolution
you
works.
are. That
I didn't say I was all
you talk
knowing.
as if you
I didn't
know
say I was.
all
I
the
didn't
way
say.
down
I didn't say I was.
now.
I didn't say I was all knowing.
I'm telling
I'm
you
saying that
are.
what your example is not how evolution works.
But what I'm saying is you're very limited on your approach to science and the unknown.
I'm not.
Because,
What you're saying is not how evolution works.
okay, so you have a great day because you feel you know about how every single thing that happens in the world works
That's
and
not what
will
I said.
happen.
I have no idea how
But
quantum
you
mechanics works. That's not how I said. That's
what
not
I'm
what I said.
saying is based on evolution. I didn't you see now you're what's up,
What? Hold on,
philosopher?
Ari. Hold
You
on.
are
Stop.
going
Ari.
yes,
You said
yes.
based on evolution, right? What I'm saying to you is that your example is not how evolution works.
And
So
okay,
it's a crap
okay.
example.
So what I'm saying is spiritual evolution. You're saying
You
it
have to
doesn't
prove
happen
spirits
that
first.
way.
You didn't say spiritual evolution.
Metaphysical.
You didn't say spiritual evolution. You just said evolution. That's what you said. That's
So
not how
that's what I'm
evolution
saying. You
works.
want to act
So
like
hold on, wait,
I'm saying
stop.
the E word
You
about
said
evolution
you said
as in spiritual
evolution.
evolution,
Okay,
not
so now you're saying spiritual.
evolution on the
Now
spirits.
now
See,
you buried the lead. Hold on, wait. Hold on. Let me finish.
not doing
Let me
it
finish.
the
You
way
buried the lead. You buried the lead. That's the first thing. You buried the lead. You simply said evolution. The way we understand evolution is through biological, right?
the way
Now you
you
said,
do.
hold on. You said
And I'm talking
now
about
you're talking. Okay, so you
biology
buried
as a
the.
human,
Hold on, Ari.
which
That's my
has
point. Ari,
spirituality
Ari, can you be quiet for
involved.
1 second? You be quiet for
Oh,
1 second. That's my point. My point is, I'm going to shout over you. My point is, you
No,
buried the lead.
no.
You should have said spiritual evolution at the beginning. That's what you should have said. All right, leave. My bad, Dex. I didn't see you in the request. I know you wanted to come up and
Hey,
respond to her.
sorry. I was tapping the screen. I ended up coming up by mistake. Sorry, man.
Hey, not a problem. Appreciate you. Shout out to Dex, y'all. Go ahead and follow Dex. Go ahead and follow Dex. It's not a bad faith argument, Ari. You said evolution, and then when I say, hey, that's not how evolution works, you'd be like, oh, spiritual evolution. You buried the lead. You should have said spiritual evolution from the beginning. Now, if you want to talk about spiritual evolution, you have to prove spirits first. You just can't say, oh, it's spiritual evolution. You got to prove that spirits exist first. You got to prove that the spiritual exists first. You need to actually prove those things. You just can't say, oh, that's evolution. No, evolution is not. No, when we talk about science, spiritual evolution is not part of that. That's something that y'all making up. Evolution talks about genetics, talks about paleontology, talks about biology, talks about phylogenetics, things that we can actually prove to be true. If you want to talk about spirits, that's something else. You have to actually prove spirits first. Appreciate you, Madam Fifi. Y'all follow Madam Fifi. What's going on with you, Nicole? Shout out to Nicole, y'all. Shout out to Nicole. Shout out to Dex. Y'all follow Dex as well. Shout out to Madam Fifi for getting me all the likes. We have 3.7K likes. We're at 11 people in the 11 people in the chat now. I might make do a restart if we don't get anybody else to come up. I'm gonna see who else is here. We don't really have anyone else here yet, but if I see anyone else here that I want to bring up, I'm gonna go ahead and bring them up. Yeah, I highly doubt you're a scientist. I think that's cap. I don't think you're a scientist. I think that's cap. We got the god of the caps. All right, y'all. If you like to a spiritual scientist, all right, y'all. If y'all like to support everything that I do here, quick announcements because we all know that TikTok might end soon. If TikTok does end soon, I want y'all to go ahead and subscribe to me on my YouTube. If you go into my the link tree in my bio, you'll see the socials. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube as well because I'll be doing these over there. If you like to subscribe me on TikTok while we still have it, I have a subscriber goal. Y'all go ahead and please subscribe as well. And y'all hit my live goals. I would like to hit that goal if we can. We do have other people who are live right now. Joyful Apostate is live right now. We're gonna go raid him after we're done with this. I might do a restart on this just so we could get more debates out and more debates going. We do get a lot of people at first, and then they all request at the same time. And once I tell them, hey, I'm gonna bring people up one at a time, that's when they leave and don't want to talk. I don't know why they do that, but I always tell people, hey, I'm gonna be doing this one at a time. Be patient. You know what I mean? I'll give everybody 15 to 20 minutes to talk, and they all just kind of end up leaving. Yeah, 20 minutes is a long time, but like I said, you're either gonna be patient because I'm not gonna talk with everybody. Like I hate doing panels; it gets way too destructive. It gets way too like chaotic. So I give everybody 15 to 20 minutes. I even say it up here. I say 20 minutes each guest. So if you can be patient, or if you're at break at work and you need to come on later, then come on later. I usually be on for a few hours anyway. I forgot to hit record on this, but that's fine. I could download it. All right, y'all. Like I said, I appreciate you all being here. Forever Atheist, I appreciate all the likes, man. I appreciate all the likes. Hopefully, we get more people in here. We only got 11 right now. We did fix the TikTok problem of us being shadow banned and it only going out to the followers. So now it is going out to the FYP. Y'all go ahead and I do appreciate all the likes, but y'all go ahead and help me hit my live goal if y'all can. The live goal and the gifts, it does help us get out to the FYP as well. So I appreciate the likes, y'all, and hopefully we get more people in here. Hopefully we get more debates going. Ooh, so how y'all doing this Monday? Yeah, this week is gonna be my religion week. This week is gonna be my religion week. So today, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to be doing this topic, religion, and then I think on next Sunday, I'm gonna go. Hey, appreciate that, man. 50% there. We're 50% there. We're gonna go ahead and get more people in here. Hopefully, appreciate you, Forever Atheist. So Monday, so today's Monday. So Wednesday and Friday, I'm gonna be doing this topic, and then next Sunday, I'm gonna be doing the topic on politics, on leftism. So next Sunday, y'all gonna see me go back to the politics, but this week is gonna be religion. Madam Fifi, appreciate you. I'm almost there. We almost there to the gift goal. Hey, we hit the live, y'all. We hit the live goal. We hit the live goal. I appreciate you all, man. We hit the live goal. We're gonna go ahead and put up another goal up. Hopefully, we just get more folks in here. Hopefully, we get more folks in here. We got more people coming in. What's up, Bree? We do got more people coming in. So, if we could get us up to, let's try to get to 10K likes next. I'm gonna go ahead and put on another goal for the live. All right. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. I went ahead and put up another live goal. Hopefully, we get more people in here. I'm just waiting for any other guests. Like I said, if we don't get any more guests, I will give it probably like about another 5 minutes. Let's get about another 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick refresh. We'll do a restart just for us to get more guests in here. So if I do a restart, you guys, everybody come back. Dex, I see you out there. Forever Atheist, I see you out there. Madam Fifi, I do see you out there. Nicole, I see you out there. If I have to do a restart, you guys come back, okay? I don't want to take long with my restarts. It probably takes like 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'll go ahead and restart it. All right, because we have 10 people right now, and I just gotta wait for any other guests to come in. If another guest come in, then we go ahead and restart it, and we go ahead and start doing more. Hopefully, we get more guests. There are other people who are live right now, so that's probably why I'm not getting the guests. Correct, Forever Atheist. We do not need a god for that. That's actually, what is that? That's my fourth point. God isn't necessary for purpose, morals, or values. God is not necessary at all for purpose, morals, or values, because we can have purpose, morals, and values while still being a non-believer. As a matter of fact, I think our morals and values are better than that of the God of the Bible. Way better, as a matter of fact. Maybe I should switch up my background. If I switch up my background, maybe we get more people in. Give me a second. All right, so I'm going to switch up my background real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm just switching up the background. Boom. Boom, y'all. Background switched up. Let's see if we can get anybody with this one. Let's see if we can go ahead and get anybody else with this one. I think that's a good background, right? Yeah, I think I have better morals than Yahweh. Not only do I think I have better morals than Yahweh, I think even the Christians themselves, they have better morals than Yahweh. They have better morals than the God that they worship. Which is kind of crazy because if they have better morals than it, why do they worship it? Oh yeah, the Job story is one of my favorites. The Job story is one of my favorites. Yeah, the Job story is one of my favorites. So the Job story absolutely proves that we have better morals than Yahweh. Not to mention all the suffering that he causes in the Bible, like where he like unalives a baby. He makes a baby suffer and then unalives it because of what David did. Yeah, for some reason, like people don't really mind how Yahweh treated Job. It's really kind of surprising. Like he sent Satan to unalive Job's children for like literally no reason at all, actually. Because like Satan was just walking around chilling, and then all of a sudden like Yahweh told Satan, "Hey, have you considered Job?" It's like kind of gross, bro. Yeah, I might hit a quick restart, y'all. All right, I think I'm gonna hit a quick restart, y'all, because we want more people to come in. So again, I appreciate all the shares and the likes and having me hit my goal. You're right, Dex. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit a restart, you guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and have it be right back. Okay. Appreciate y'all being here. Be right back. I'm talking about this subject. If we're gonna go ahead and hit a quick reset. I'm gonna tell you the well, you don't be able to do it now. No, no problem. Don't worry about it. Someone on my YouTube told me they couldn't hear someone. I was gonna tell you to jump on it when I have a guest to see if you can hear them on my YouTube. All right, y'all. Let's get back at it. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get back at it. Let's go ahead and get back at it. Benny boy, what's good, Benny? We back at it again. This is my religion week. All right, y'all. This is my religion week. Next week will be my politics week. This is my religion week. So everybody, go ahead and pour on in. Everybody, come on in. Start liking the live. Start sharing it. Y'all see the topic of discussion right now. I think I have better morals than Yahweh. Y'all let me know if you think that I don't have better morals than Yahweh, and in fact, Yahweh has better morals than I do, and we could talk about it. What up, CT? Appreciate you being here. I appreciate y'all, everybody joining right now. Y'all go ahead and start liking the live, start sharing it. If you disagree with me, go ahead and send that request, and we can go ahead and start talking, all right? I do have a live goal. I do have a subscriber goal. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to me if you would like. If you like what I do, y'all go ahead and gift up my live, gift up the panel when they come up, gift any guests when they come up, please. And yeah, man, let's go ahead and have a discussion. So I have better morals than Yahweh. Do you think I have better morals than Yahweh, or do you not think I have better morals than Yahweh? Not only do I think I have better morals than Yahweh, I think you have better morals than Yahweh. So if you are a believer of the God in the Bible, if you're a Christian, go ahead and come on up, and we could talk more about it. I did see a few crosses in there when I look at the when I look at the chat and I see everybody join. I did see a few crosses. So there are some Christians there. There are some Christians in the chat, and if you would like to have a chat with me, let's go ahead and have a chat. I don't bite. We can go ahead and have a talk. Let me know what y'all think of the subject. Let me know what y'all think of the subject, y'all. So go ahead and start liking the live. Go ahead and share that out with anybody that's out there. I appreciate all the likes, all the support. Also, it does seem that the TikTok ban might be going through. So if the TikTok ban is gonna go through, y'all check the link tree in my bio. I do have a YouTube. Let's see. Morocco, I'm not sure what you mean by that. This has nothing to do with intersectionality. I mean, we can talk about that when I do politics next week, but this week is religion. But if you want to talk about, intersectional issues, we can talk about next week when it's politics. But I see everybody joining. I do see everybody joining. Yeah, someone request. I do know that there's someone out there who would like to have a discussion. So if you would like to have a discussion, let's go ahead and talk about this, y'all. I think I have better morals than Yahweh. That's the God of the Bible, because he promoted or caused all these to happen. And not only do I think I have better morals than Yahweh, I think you have better morals than Yahweh. I think the Christians out there who worship this God, I think y'all are better than that. Y'all way better than that. Y'all shouldn't be worshiping this God. Y'all better than that. So if you do believe in this God, and you do think this God is moral, go ahead and join me. Go ahead and join me. We can talk. I appreciate all the likes, y'all. We already had 1,000 likes. We are 1,000 likes. I do see people pouring into the live. Don't just come in and swipe away. Actually come in and let's talk. Actually come in and let's talk about it, y'all. I like these discussions. You might be right, Fifi. They're just waiting on their turn to participate in those acts. And you see, that's the thing. Whenever I ask a Christian about, slavery or anything like that, we won't say, hey, do you know what free will is by any chance? All right. Jesus is God. I'm going to go ahead and bring you up, Jesus. Here's the thing, y'all. Like, don't just chat in the comments if you disagree with me. Like, actually request up, because I actually would like to have a discussion. So Actually request up if you don't agree with what I'm saying. I'd never like just chatting to the comments. Like that gets I don't know, that gets really boring. I don't like chatting to the comments. I like when people request up and we actually have a productive and fruitful discussion. So don't just come here and say something and then swipe out. Which does seem to happen every time I invite someone. They kind of disappear from the chat. I don't know why. So I just invited Jesus as God up so he can talk to me about it. An interdimensional parasite is actually a very good description. Oh, interdimensional parasite is crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, every time someone disagrees with me and I bring them up to the chat to talk to me, they seem to like disappear from the chat. Like they just leave. Yeah, I mean, and I'm like, bro, did you want to say something or not? Like I never understand that. But yeah, y'all keep liking the live. Go ahead and share it for me, please, as well. I do have a gift goal. I do have a subscriber goal. And again, it does look like TikTok is about to get banned in about 30 to 45 days. So if that does happen, I do have a YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube. Go to my link tree. Go to the bio. Go to my bio. Go to my link tree. I do have my YouTube link there. Y'all go ahead and go to my YouTube, and we'll go ahead and keep these discussions going, hopefully. Yeah, CT. I guess I do. I guess I have some sort of magic power that makes the ops disappear. For some reason, every time like I go ahead and invite them up, they leave. They disappear. As you can see, Jesus is God. He talked about free will. I invited him up for us to go ahead and talk further about it, and he's gone now. Disappeared. All right, let's go ahead and try with this person. All right, Too Tall. I sent you an invitation, Too Tall. Too Tall, I sent you an invitation. Let's see if Too Tall comes up. See, this is what I mean. Jesus God, why won't you join? Why won't you join, Jesus? Like, use your Holy Spirit courage to come up and actually discuss these issues. Why won't you join? Bro, I don't bite, bro. I literally don't. You can ask anybody in this chat. I'm not actually rude or mean. Unless you become rude or mean to me, I'm not rude or mean to anyone. You can actually come up and chat. All right, so it seems that Too Tall just wants to be a racist, so. All right, y'all. But let's try to get some people in here. Like, this is what I mean. Like, Jesus God said that he's in the chat, he's here, but he's not gonna join. Like, why, bro? So why'd you say anything? Like, come on. I'm going to invite anyone up who is in opposition to what I'm saying here. I'm gonna invite you up. So far, I've invited Jesus and I've invited Too Tall. Neither of them want to come up, so. And there's plenty of people who's coming in. There's lots of y'all coming in. I know all y'all coming in are not in agreement with me. One of y'all is not liking what I'm saying or disagrees. So go ahead and come on up. Let's have a discussion. And again, y'all, I do have my YouTube and the bio. Oh, there we go. All right, so we have one brief. So, Adam, how's it going?
Not too bad. You?
I'm all right. You over 18 for TikTok purposes?
Yes.
All right, cool. Now, I think I have better morals than Yahweh. Do you disagree with me?
What's that?
I believe that I have better morals than Yahweh. Do you disagree with me?
I doubt it.
So you agree that Yahweh is a moral monster then?
I believe God is a moral, supreme.
Okay, so you do disagree with me. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and have this discussion. All right, cool. So why do you disagree?
I disagree because I know this God, this Creator. I have a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with Him. I study the Word.
Mm-hmm.
I go to church. I'm with believers. We don't feel the same about what other people are saying in the world about it, God, because I feel that people lack the understanding of who God is.
Mm-hmm.
So people are going to do whatever in their mind to take everything out of context when it comes to the Word.
Mm-hmm.
People are always going to put their own thoughts and come to the conclusion of, well, I don't feel like this is fair. Okay, God allows this,
Mm-hmm.
God allows that. Um, why didn't God stop this? Why did God do this?
Mm-hmm.
I think God has a reason when He does things,
Mm-hmm.
and
All right,
I'm
cool.
not God's mind. I'm not God's mind, so I can't always think what I think that God's thinking. I can only interpret it the best to my knowledge when it comes to the Bible or the Word.
All right, cool. Let me ask you a question. Are you okay with slavery?
No,
Okay, but Yahweh is. Slavery is immoral, correct?
I believe God has His reasons why that why He allowed certain things to happen in those days. I wasn't there,
No, I
but
understand that you believe that God has has Yahweh has a certain reason for these things, but that's still immoral, correct?
um, I do believe it's wrong for other people to own other slaves, no matter what the um, circumstances. But
Cool.
if you look at today, right, our own government has people in prisons,
Who
and
are slaves? I agree, but my issue with is this: if we understand that if our menial brains that can't compare to this omnipotent being that created the universe, if we can understand that owning other people is incorrect and wrong, why did that omnipotent that why did that being then tell his chosen people to do something that's wrong?
I think God was trying to find ways to, not saying make it fair sometimes, but I believe God had ways to try to, because man wanted to have these things, and basically, um, especially when it became the other people of the world, because the Israel people weren't really doing all these things, but I felt like God was trying to say, well, since you guys have taken some of our property, you have taken some of our women and children, whatever that was being taken from Israel. Well, you can go back and take back what's basically yours, right? God was saying that's what He was. I believe that's what God was trying to do, in my thinking. But I do believe that the grape is very strong on God. I do believe that God hates grape, and He will punish
Okay, well, hold on.
unrighteous.
Let's stay with the whole slavery thing first. All right. So
Okay.
you believe that Yahweh was telling them to go enslave people because they stole stuff from them? That seems kind of
If you go
extreme.
read, in the context and try to read for what was going on at that time, that the Israelites had this land, and uh, other nations were being built around it and
Hmm.
were coming in, and they were trying to take them as property, basically. And
Okay.
then the
So
Israelites
so
was
when
like, well,
I got you.
God said,
When
go
we
back and
read
take back what's yours, pretty
right.
much.
Okay, so when we read the stories, we do know that Israel was having wars with other nations because that's just something that happens, right? So we get it. In ancient times, there was always wars that were happening. I got you,
Yeah.
but the way that this story is reading, like these people weren't doing anything different from what Israelites were doing themselves. As a matter of fact, Israelites were going around conquering people because they were quote unquote the chosen. You know what I'm saying? So they were just taking
I
it
do
by
believe,
God telling them to go take it.
yeah.
So it
I do
wasn't
believe there were some people. Sorry, but I just say I do believe there were some people in the groups that were not doing the right things when it came to, um, you know, owning the way that basically. how to be treated. Basically, I do believe that some people, you know, I always
Right,
like
but
to say
what?
that some people don't always set the standards for everybody else. There's always that one bad apple that's in the group that's going to spoil the rest.
But this
I do
isn't
believe
really.
that.
This isn't really one bad. This is really one bad apple. This was them being treated as chattel slaves, and God actually in these verses, Yahweh actually makes a distinction between the Hebrew servants and the chattel slaves, those who you can treat with harshness.
Yeah, I do believe some of that was brutal. I mean, I get it. I mean,
Right.
nothing's really easy about it.
Right. So the question then
There's some very
so the
gruesome
question then
stuff, right, that
I
was going
understand that.
on.
I understand that. So the question then becomes, yeah, so you agree. So the question then becomes, why would this all moral being tell his beings to do immoral things? That makes no sense for a moral being to do.
I guess it's kind of like this. I guess I look at this. If somebody comes in, let's say, for instance, for yourself, like, this is the best way I've tried to understand it. Let's say that there's somebody like in your family, right? Somebody comes along and takes maybe like some property of yours or does something harmful, right, in your family, right? Are you going to seek revenge in some way, or are you going to allow, say, maybe justice to come in and try to balance that out?
That's gonna I'm gonna
That's what I
depend.
do.
That's gonna depend on what they did. If they stole a car from me, then if I can find the person, yeah, I'm gonna take my car back. If they, for example, touch my child, I'm gonna make sure that they go to jail, and they better go to jail before I do anything to that person because I might unalive that person. You know what I mean? So like I would take the proper steps, but the retribution should fit the crime. If they stole my car, but I get my car back, then whatever, send them to county jail for 2 months. You know what I mean? Whatever. But like I'm not going to try to enslave that person or unalive them just because they stole my car, unless my life is in danger while they're trying to steal my car.
So just what I'm trying to get at. Israel was chosen by God, and other nations were messing around and doing things that God didn't like. So God was trying to find ways to, uh, bring balance in it somehow, because He didn't want to stop everybody's free will to do everything what they wanted to do, right? Because the laws weren't really set yet, especially in the beginning. If you really look at, well, I believe the Moses laws were kind of there, but if you go way maybe like in Noah's time and maybe basically in Adam's time, a lot of this stuff was going on, but
Right.
the laws didn't come really
I understand a lot of the stuff what was going on,
by
but
Moses.
I understand a lot of stuff was going on. But like when we look at the Mosaic laws and the Ten Commandments as well, God already prohibits a lot of things like cross dressing, shellfish, pigs, shaving your beards, tattoos, etc. He's saying to don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But once it comes to this topic of enslaving people, oh well, you have free will and everyone else is doing it. Everyone else is also putting on tattoos. So why ban that but
I
not ban
guess
this?
if I was looking at it from your perspective, I would say the same thing and say, okay, God, we got people like you right now talking about it, and they don't know why that these things have happened. Sometimes I think that way too. Like, well, okay, God, what was the reasons for some of this to happen? Because obviously, we look at throughout history, slavery was one of the main front runners of everything. That's what built civilization. Build you know cities, and it got nothing to think going. But that was not always the right thing, right? Because the Romans did it, the Egyptians did it, the pagans, I believe, did it. I mean, all these people are always copying of everything that happened in the beginning. God was trying to stop all that. He didn't want any of these things to happen.
So how
But
come he
people
just
are
didn't
just
tell him to not do it? He
people
actually
are
told him
doing
to
it because
do
he
it.
wasn't going to do though.
As a matter of fact,
That's why
it's
God
twice
doesn't
that.
want to interfere with free will though. That's the thing. If God goes in and says, okay, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, but God didn't want to do that right away.
What do you
He did that later on
like? No, but
when he.
what I'm saying is that in these same verses, what I'm talking about when it comes to slavery, several times before this and after this, God does exactly what you're saying. He says, "Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this." But when it comes to this specific thing, slavery, He has let it go. I've seen that happen. Like, and he bans very petty things like not wearing certain fabrics, not eating pigs, not eating shellfish, not having tattoos, not shaving your beard, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, these are very, very petty, menial things. But this huge thing, which is a violation of human rights, no, that's fine. You can go ahead and do that. I don't want to interfere with your free will. That literally makes no sense.
I do think those people were dealt with in a way that where God, because of free will, whatever happened in their life, I believe that God will deal with it in the afterlife. I do feel like that will happen. So
No, I'm saying in
whatever,
these verses, this is actually God talking. God is telling them to go ahead and do this, that they can have slaves.
yeah. And why God, like I said, why God allowed it is because what was happening to them themselves, because God wanted to get His people going, because the rest of the world was pretty much the world was pretty much, the other civilizations were already going, but God wanted to get His people going into a direction where He wanted them, and that's why I believe that the Israel people were acting like the world and doing what the world was doing, but then God
So
wanted
he
to take
told
His
them to
people
do
there.
something immoral in order for the savior of the world to come. They have to do something immoral. That
No, I don't believe these were immoral things that God was trying to imply,
you just said
even
slavery is
though
immoral,
they
though.
were still, even though they were still doing immoral things, because God says, "Thou shalt not kill." Well, even though God says, "Thou shalt not kill," doesn't mean it's going to stop somebody from
From
actually
killing.
going
I know that.
killing,
Okay, but Adam, understand what I'm saying. But
unaliving.
yeah, unaliving. Yeah, I understand that. But Adam, understand what I'm saying. The commandments that I'm talking about, the verse that I'm talking about, where Yahweh is actually speaking, He's actually telling to give them instructions on how they can have slaves. He's not. In every other instruction is, you can't do this, you can't do that. But He's actually allowing them to have slaves. As a matter of fact, He actually gives a commandment where if they're going to war with a town and the town offers them peace, that they can enslave the entire town. He actually tells them to go do this. So I understand that you're saying that God wanted to get the civilization going or whatever, but He got it going through things like genocide and slavery.
Well, yeah. There's things that were standing, I believe, in the way because without God, kind of maybe I get your point, but at the end of the day, I don't think God's intentions were to let's let this happen, because I think God doesn't. Not saying do I feel that God. Well, I mean, if you look at it from this point, I do believe God owns all of us, right? I do believe God has ownership of all of us. But is God right now? Is He? Not saying I would blame man or something else, but I would believe that why we're in some of the circumstances because of the sins that have basically took place since the beginning, and I think we're not saying we're feeling the effects of it, but we can still feel the effects of what happened 6,000 years ago, basically, because this stuff is still happening to this day. And
What like what happened 6,000 years ago?
huh?
What happened 6,000 years ago?
I'm saying basically what was going on in the beginning, like slavery,
Yeah, I understand. We
all
still
the
feel the effects of that today. My argument is more along the lines of why did God let them go ahead and do it, or even tell them to do it? You see what I mean? That's more along the line I'm going on. You also mentioned grape earlier. You said that God doesn't condone that.
no.
Okay, I think He does, and there's a reason why I think He does. But before I do that, and we got about 5 more minutes, so this could be the last thing. Okay, so before I do that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Let's say you're in the United States, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say the United States and Mexico go to war, and I become drafted into the military, right? So I get drafted into the military. I'm a soldier, and we go to Mexico City because we're at war with Mexico for some reason. In Mexico City, I see a beautiful woman called Consuela. I said, I really like this girl. She's sexy. So I unalive both her parents. I then take her back to Florida with me. And after a month of her crying and everything like that, I go ahead and have intercourse with her. Are you going to say that I'm a rapist?
I'm sorry. Was it Did she accept that sexual thing that happened or no?
I just captured her, brought her in my house, let her cry for a month, and then after that, I had sex with her.
That would be a form of abuse, and then it would be a form of
Right. Okay.
wrong things, right?
So
That would
Deuteronomy.
be wrong.
Gotcha. So Deuteronomy 21:10, Deuteronomy 21 verse 10 to 14. When you go out war against your enemies and the Lord hands them to you and take them captive, suppose you see among the captives a beautiful woman whom you desire and want to marry, and so you bring her home to your house. She shall shave her head, pare her nails, discard her captive's garb, and remain in your house a full month, mourning for her father and mother. After that, you may go into her, and you shall be her husband, and she shall be your wife. So
I
beat
guess
for
that's
beat what I explained.
why God did it like that or allowed it to happen like that. I guess was that way to not say cleanse and change from what lifestyle they had before. I don't know.
Cleanse them.
I
That's
don't
so.
know.
So
Is
ethnic
that
graping is.
basically what they, no, I said, is that what the Israel people were doing, or was it God actually said to say this is what you can do these things, right? Is that what you're saying? God said
Yeah.
you
This
can do
is.
these things.
Yeah. This is what Deuteronomy is. I mean. Yeah. Deuteronomy is. This verse of Deuteronomy is Yahweh speaking to Aaron and telling them that when they see beautiful women by going to war, if they go ahead and vanquish their enemies, they can go ahead and take the women and boom. So captive brides, war brides, essentially, something that's a war crime. We consider a war crime today because we call it rape. So Yahweh was telling them to commit a war crime.
Yes. I, I don't know because what if the woman was okay with it? I don't know. Like when it did happen, maybe I don't know. That's the thing. I wasn't there at that time, right? Stuff happened so long ago, and why those things were happening in the beginning, I don't know. Even though I would like to have better answers, because obviously you want those answers, right? Because that's why you feel like that you have better morals than my God, because I can't answer those questions because I'm not God. Maybe someday you will get to answer those questions when you die and go to heaven. Then you can ask them. But I would try to live right for God. I would try to live right and still try to follow the commandments of God, because so you
Okay.
will be able to get that chance then later on.
Okay, I got you. And I don't mind the answer. I don't know. For everyone who's in the guest box right now, I'm gonna bring you up next. Okay. So I could respect the answer that you don't know because a lot of people don't know. That's fine. It's just that because of that, that's why I view God that's why I view Yahweh as immoral, because there's no way I would as a person as a being that's supposedly all knowing and has all morals, he should know that this is wrong, but he commanded it instead.
Can I ask you one question though before
Sure.
you let me go?
Yeah, sure.
Do you still have compassion on other people, even though that do you have morals yourself? Do you believe all these things are wrong? Would you follow, like, say, the Ten Commandments? Do you believe that's a good moral code to go by
There are a
in
few things.
society?
There are a few things in the Ten Commandments that I will follow, but but the first five commandments are literally about worshiping God. So I don't think those are necessary for morals. But things like not stealing, not honoring your mother and father, that's situational, because what if your parents are abusive? So there's no point to honor them. But things like but outside of that, if they're good parents, yeah, honor them. Don't steal, don't unalive people. But those are things that existed outside of the Hebrew context anyway. Yeah, I mean, the Code of Hammurabi had all those. So
Do you feel that the laws that are set now, in some ways, and maybe versus the places around the world, do you feel like some of the laws, say like the Muslims or China or some of the other, is extreme when it comes to, say, capital punishment, and then when it comes to murder and rape and all this? Do you feel that those laws are justified in its own way, or do you feel that would you go along with what most people believe is when somebody harms a child or does something bad to a woman or unalive somebody, or basically when it comes to maybe theft and maybe drugs is more of a petty thing, but I do believe God has mercy on everyone and God has grace on everyone. Some people's lives are go shorter because of what they're doing, and I believe
wait,
God does have.
hold on, Adam,
I
because
know.
I'm kind of lost. I'm not sure what you're asking. You have to kind of condense this. What are you actually
Yeah, I
asking me?
guess what I'm trying to ask you is that how can we coexist as humans if we don't live up to the standards of what God has made? And even though that you feel in your mind that even God, the way the scriptures are found, and maybe it's not haven't been revealed to you yet, and that's what I'm just asking. Maybe just give God a little more chance, keep studying, and maybe the truth will come out, and then you'll see why these things happened.
Well, there's a few ways that we can do that. Number one, if we look at some of the most peaceful countries, they are not religious at all. They have no type of force for religion. For example, one of the most peaceful countries on the planet is the Czech Republic. It's 60% atheist. So obviously we don't need a biblical framework in order to live moral lives. You see what I'm saying? The way we can also do it is like how I view it. And basically, this is the basis of basically all morals is consequentialism. Things that have negative anti-social consequences, we don't prefer those, and things that have pro-social consequences, we view those as moral, or we prefer those. All we have to do is try to live our lives with more pro-social consequences, as less harm as possible, increasing quality as much as possible, and increasing human well-being as much as possible. Once we do those things, we can live we can all live happy, productive lives. We don't have to have a biblical standard to do that. As a matter of fact, a lot of the places that try to follow a biblical standard, they remove rights from lots of people. For example, down in the Caribbean, my family's from the Caribbean, being a homosexual is basically a death sentence. There are people who will unalive you down there for that because of what the Bible says. You see what I'm saying? So it's not really just because you have a biblical framework doesn't mean that you have a moral system.
Do you think every crime that's really horrible and that's most heinous thing, do you believe that should always end in a capital punishment, like a death
No,
sentence? Do you believe that?
no.
Do you feel that there should be grace to everybody, and try to help them and try to figure a way out to
Yes,
not just unalive them right away?
yes, the only probably the only crime I would say someone should be unalive for is like touching kids. You know what I mean? That's probably the only one that, because you can't fix that. That's probably one of the only ones. You know what I'm saying? That or grape. That's probably there's very few that I would say someone deserves unaliving for. Very, very few, and those are probably the only two. You know what I mean? And yeah, those are probably the only two. Yeah, you feel me? So like everything else.
Republic?
Hmm?
Any of those laws in place? That Czech Republic you said? That's like you said about 60% atheists, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have a lot of these laws in place like that?
The death penalty? I don't think they have the death penalty. I don't think they do. But they do have, you go to prison for life. But Adam, I do need to bring someone else up. Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring the next person up. We're gonna go ahead and bring solutions up. Remember, guys, I'm doing about 15 to 20 minutes each person, so don't just drop out the box. Just be patient with me. Go ahead and keep liking the live and keep sharing it. I appreciate everybody who's in the live already. Solutions, how's it going?
Oh, it's going good. How are you?
I'm all right. You over 18 for TikTok purposes?
Oh yeah.
All right. Disagree with what I have on the board?
It's hard to. Okay, hold on. I have better morals than Yahweh.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know you, but I think that Yahweh doesn't have the greatest morals.
Oh, okay. So
I have better morals than Yahweh, but I don't think you have better morals than Yeshua.
what's the difference?
God and Jesus. Old Testament versus New Testament.
Are you a Gnostic?
I classify myself as spiritual. I do believe in God, just not the biblical one.
Okay. So Yahshua, in your worldview, Jesus and Yahweh are not the same. You're not a Trinitarian then.
That's correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, sure. In the Christian worldview, Jesus and Yahweh are the same. So if that's the case, then Jesus is also immoral. But if your worldview, Jesus is a whole nother person, then there's really nothing to discuss there.
Because you agree that Jesus lives up to a better standard than both of us.
Not really. Jesus never said anything about PDF files. He never said anything about slavery. As a matter of fact, he told, was that Jesus or Paul? Which one where he says to obey your earthly masters? I'm not sure if that was Jesus or Paul.
Probably
If
Paul.
That was probably Paul, right? Yeah, because that was said
Yeah.
in Acts. Yeah, there was something about for like, was that Jesus or Paul? No, Jesus said something about slavery, and it was something about obeying your masters. I think Jesus said actually did say that. But if I'm correct, and he did say that, then yeah, he's not moral either.
Well, I mean, Jesus's whole purpose was to rise up above, like against the masters who were enslaving the people. He wanted equality.
Give me one
Oh,
second. What was that name? CMVS10 Canvas. I think your name is Canvas. Go ahead and request. I'll bring you up right after I talk to Solutions. All right. Because I actually do have it's someone named Canvas that said you can't have if you don't have a moral standard in the first place. I'm just calling you Canvas because I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. But Canvas, I do have a moral standard. I just haven't explained it to you yet. But yeah, Solutions. When you say that Jesus wanted to, you said he wanted to do what now?
he wanted to rise up against the authorities, the Jews who were in charge at the time,
The
and
Pharisees?
um,
Yeah,
the
the Pharisees.
Israelites.
Yeah, the Pharisees.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, the problem with Jesus is that he was basically a blasphemer because per the Pharisees you can't claim to be God, and that's which what Jesus was doing, and so yeah, Jesus was claiming to be God, and that's why he was executed. So like even though like like that I view that as ridiculous as well. Yeah, I mean I don't agree with the Pharisees either, but I don't see how that makes Jesus moral or more morally superior, or saying that he wants to overthrow the Pharisees. Essentially he was speaking out against Rome, which a lot of people back then were doing, but other than that,
Well,
like I don't see
he was
any
very much
revolutionary ideas here in the Bible. Where do we see that actually?
he was very much against the Jews because the Jews were the ones that were actually in charge, kind of like today, for example.
Well, he was
And
Jewish, and the Jews are not in charge today. But Jesus was Jewish. He was
yeah,
against the
he was.
Pharisees.
No, Jewish was that. Sorry, Jesus was Jewish by ethnicity,
Hmm.
but he was not religiously Jewish. He didn't agree with the Jews at all.
Yeah. He didn't agree with the Pharisees. Yeah, sure. Like he thought that he was pointing out the hypocrisy. He pointed out the hypocrisy of the Pharisees all the time by them not following all the laws of Moses. Yeah, I mean, and the laws of Moses were just about impossible to follow in the first place. So, yeah, Jesus did
Um,
that. But like, what I'm trying to say is that how does that show him to be like some sort of revolutionary character that wants to take over things and the scary Jews? Like, I'm not a conspiracy
right.
theorist that believe that Jews take over the world or whatever.
Well, Jesus actually he went against the Abrahamic laws quite often for righteous reasons, and the Jews hated that. That he performed miracles on Sabbath and things like that, and
Hmm.
he stood for righteousness instead of law, because law is flawed.
Yeah, the laws were very flawed, which is why the Pharisees couldn't follow them. And Jesus was saying that they weren't following the laws. I mean, Jesus himself, like, he thought that the laws of Moses were awesome. I mean, he was calling the Pharisees out all the time by saying that they're not following it.
Um, I mean, he did respect, Abraham,
Hmm.
and who fell under him, but he also put a new spin on it to where some things he broke out of and went for morality instead of like the submission to law, and essentially he got unalived because the Jews twisted the scenario into making it seem like he said he was God. But what he really was trying to say is that the essence of God lives within him. That's all he was saying.
Yeah, that's blasphemous according to what the Hebrews believe at that time.
They were wrong though,
How do you know that?
because God does live in us. It's the Holy Spirit, which is our conscience.
How do you show that to be true?
Because it's not me who's speaking to myself when I need assistance into what is wrong, what is right, and what I should do next. That's holy. That's God speaking to me through my conscience.
No, it's you.
No,
Yeah, it's you. You're talking to yourself.
I'm not schizophrenic.
You don't have to be.
Okay, thank you, sir. I gotta go.
Sure. All right, y'all. I do appreciate everybody who's here. I do see a couple people in the chat that want to come up. I see CMV. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna call you Canvas because I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm gonna try to go ahead and bring you up. Or that's if you're not there anymore. All right. Well, I have Darwin Watterson. You're speaking a lot in the chat, so I'm gonna go ahead and invite you up. I sent you an invite, Darwin. If you see an invite, then come on up. If you don't, that means that TikTok just doesn't want to invite you up. All right, we have Nicodemus.
Hello.
How you doing, Nicodemus? You over 18 for TikTok purposes?
Yes, I'm 22. I'm born in 2002.
Wonderful.
Nicodemus, the one that is.
Wonderful. Do you disagree with what I have on the board?
Yes.
Cool. Why do you think I don't have better morals than Yahweh? As a matter of
Well,
fact,
I don't think you have a morality.
yeah, I do.
I think you have a preference. Do you know the distinction between preference and morality?
Yeah, they're different words, but like morality is all preferences anyway.
No, morality is a system that is not arbitrary, while a preference is something that is arbitrary.
Morality
So
is
you just
morality is completely arbitrary. Even if your God exists, it's arbitrary.
now you wouldn't be arbitrary.
It would be arbitrary because it's simply based off what he wants.
It would be not arbitrary because that would happen in reality.
No, that is arbitrary because it's simply based off what he wants. Like I said, even if your God does exist and the morality is supposed to be what he says, that's simply based off what he wants. That's completely arbitrary.
Yeah, it will set up the settings on how the world works, and whatever he wants is how the world works.
How the world works.
So that's
Exactly.
different
That's
from your
arbitrary.
morality. That's not simply his ideas. He make it your ideas. You have no choice into that matter.
So we don't
When
have.
when it
So
comes
we
to
don't
what
have.
you want, I have a choice into that matter.
All
That would be
right.
the
So
distinction.
hold on. Actually, I actually still have a choice. I don't have to follow what God says, do I?
Sure, but
So
you
it's
will
still
still meet the
arbitrary.
punishment for it.
It's
They will
still
still meet the punishment for it. Not
even
really.
even if I
And
even
you
hold
will
on
be
hold on hold
sure,
on hold
but
on
there will be
hold on
punishment for
Nicodemus
it.
hold on Nicodemus. Even if I get punished, it doesn't matter because I can still not follow what he says. If morality, hold on, wait, listen. If morality is simply based off whatever God wants, that means that morality is his preference.
Is how the world is set.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You do understand that he's God, right? So the prerequisite already is on his favor.
All right, so like okay, so the prerequisite is in his favor, but you're not understanding what I'm saying. If it's mind dependent, if it's dependent on whatever God wants, that still makes it arbitrary. You're saying that it's not. So even if your
Okay.
God exists, hold on, wait. Even if your God exists, morality will still be subjective because it's subject to whatever God wants.
Okay, when it
Hold
comes
on. Let me ask you one question. Are things good just because God says they are, or are they good independent of what God wants?
things are good, not only because it's what God says, because how the world was set to be at.
Okay,
I
so
don't think you understand.
did
God
God? Hold on,
understands
wait,
the
hold on,
world
wait,
will
hold on,
not exist.
Nicodemus. Wait, let me ask you a
Can I
question.
finish my answer,
Let me just
please?
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question because like y'all say stuff and y'all just move on. We're not gonna do that.
I'm
You're
not
saying that. Hold on,
moving.
listen,
I'm
listen.
just
You're saying that morality is not just what God wants; it's how the world is set. Who set the world then?
God set the world.
So it's
God
based off
set
what He
all things.
wants.
Oh my goodness. Let me give you the distinction between objective and subjective. And objective is things that
I
have to
understand
do
what
with
objective
reality.
means. Don't do that. I understand what
No,
objective
you
means.
don't.
Yes,
Clearly,
I
you
do.
understand
I
that
understand what objective means.
subjective will not be applied to
Objective
God. You
objective is
understand
not
that, right?
objective is not mind dependent. But you just said that morality is based off what God
No, I
wants.
don't agree with that.
Objective is
I
not
don't
mind.
agree with that
Objective is not
definition.
mind. Objective is not mind dependent. If something is objective,
No,
it
I
can't
don't
depend
agree with
on.
that
If
definition.
something is objective, it can't depend on what we
I
want.
don't agree with that
If
definition.
something is okay, so what is objective then?
Okay, objective just means that it act in reality. When something is subjective, was created, was meant to be mind independent from human being, not to God. Because God, mind, is what set the world. So whatever is in God's mind is what's in reality.
That's subjective, bro.
Okay, you understand that the word subjective is only made to for human mind, right?
No, it's subjective to
You
to
want me
God
to
as well.
actually give you
No,
the
it's
academic
subjective. It's
purposes of
because something
subjectivism, sir?
object. Hold on, no. Something objective is not mind dependent. You can't
Every
depend on.
scholar,
Hold. Let me finish. It cannot depend on the mind if it is objective. That's
sir,
not
every
possible to happen.
philosophical scholar will
Wrong.
agree with me that
Wrong.
subjectivism cannot be applied to God.
Wrong.
You want me to give you names, sir?
Who you gonna give me, Alvin Pantiga or Frank Turek?
Sir, when it comes to objectivity, God's
Yeah, you're gonna give me
mind
Alvin
and
Plantinga.
purposes
So,
was
like,
straight
when hold on. Let me finish. Let me just say this, okay? If something if we want to talk about objective and subjective, how can you say that something is objective but it's still dependent on a mind?
Okay, the mind in reference here, when it says dependent, was in reference to human being mind. God's mind is what set reality, so it will be objective
So
to what
so
it is.
so God, if God mind set reality, then reality is subject to God. That makes it subjective.
Not really. Subjectivism in this fact will be only related to what is only in your mind and not in
Why?
reality. That would be the distinction.
Okay,
As soon
so
as it
so
affects
so so
reality,
think
it's
so
no
so
longer
ho-
subjective.
right. So once something is outside of once something is outside of our mind, it's in reality. It can't depend on our mind. That's what I just said before. So if you're saying that reality depends on God's mind, that makes reality subjective to God. So everything would be
That
subjective at that point. If reality is
no,
subject,
then
if
that
reality
will
if
not be
reality is
true.
dependent on God's mind, then reality itself is subjective because it's
Okay,
mind dependent.
when subjective, sir, was created, it was created at the
That means you're
purpose.
making okay. You're making a. This is what you're doing. Then you're special pleading. You're saying it's subjective for us because we're human. But if something depends on God's mind, it's not subjective because God is God. That's
It's a
completely.
categorical
That's complete.
distinction,
No,
sir.
that's
Sir,
complete. That's complete. That's
special
complete. That's
pleading and
special pleading.
categorical distinction
That's
are two different things.
you're special pleading right now. You're
I
saying
know
that.
categorical
You're
distinction, sir.
saying
I don't
that.
think you know what special pleading is.
You're saying that. Hold on. You are saying that things can't be subjective if it depends on God's mind, right?
Sir,
Is that right or wrong?
it's a categorical
Sir,
distinction.
are things subject do things become objective once they depend on God's mind?
Everything is dependent on what God says.
So everything is dependent on everything is
All
subject.
shades of
So that
effect.
means that things are subject to God.
Everything is subject to
To
God.
God. So yes, everything is subjective. Jesus fucking
Nah,
Christ, bro.
that is a bad way to use the term. That is
No, it's
that is
not.
a
It's literally what
that
you
is
just
a
said.
fallacy of just or just trying.
You
But
literally
if you want
just
me to give you
said.
the academic lesson of subjectivism, they all would agree that when it comes to God minds,
Wrong.
because of him being omniscient, it's no longer subjective, sir.
So
He is
who
omniscient.
so
He
which
is all knowing.
I don't care what philosopher says. How about that?
Okay, so if you
It doesn't matter what a
accepting
philosopher
academic,
says.
now prove to me you have a morality. How about that?
Prove to you that I have morality.
Yes.
Okay, so my morality is based off of a few things. My morality is based off of consequences, degrees of harm, well-being, and equality. Anything that violates those four things, I view as immoral, and anything that increases all those things, I view as moral. So in my mind, hold on, I'm almost done. In my mind, something like slavery will never be moral because it decreases human well-being, it violates equality, it has negative consequences, and it's very, very harmful. So it can never be moral in my eyes. However, if we contract this with Yahweh, when he says that slavery is okay, that's just a moral. That's just a dictate. You can just go ahead and do slavery, and it wouldn't be considered moral or immoral because God just simply said so.
Okay, so where did you get that from? That morality, your morality, where you get it from?
Myself, I made it up.
Okay, so if you made up your morality, why should your morality be better than the mustache men that live in Germany?
Because he caused harm and I don't.
Okay, but how would it be better? Okay, cause harm. Why should that be any consequential when it's both y'all subjective and coming from your opinion?
It's consequential because again he causes harm.
Consequential,
Hold on.
consequential
From my subjective view, I can still make objective observations. It's an objective hold on, wait, hold on. It's a hold on. It's an objective observation that slavery causes harm. Right or wrong?
Sir, harm is what do you mean by harm? Harm is an ambiguous term. What do you consider to be harm?
That's not an ambiguous term. You know what harm is.
Are you talking about physical harm? Are you talking about mental harm?
All of them.
Which one you referring to?
All forms of harm. All of them.
So all forms of harm. So you would tell me that if somebody were to consider, because not every person not consider things to be harm different to people. So when you say harm, it's really an ambiguous term because I really don't know what you mean. So it's everything is harm. If I believe that you talking right now is causing harm, would you stop talking then?
No, that's not what you said. When you asked me, am I talking about mental harm, physical harm, etc., types of harm? I said all those types of harm. Now, if you're saying, if you're asking me what actually is harm, then I can give you the dictionary definition. But I think we all understand what harm is.
Harm is subjective, sir. So it's depends on person on.
That's
person.
why I said
If you
degrees.
consider-
That's why I said degrees of harm. There are some things that I view less harmful, and there's some things I view more harmful.
Sure, I think what you're doing right now is very harmful. That's a very harmful degree.
Okay,
So-
cool. Well, how is what I'm doing very harmful? Tell me what harm I caused.
Because I believe when you're speaking right now that you don't know about, because you're clearly not omniscient, you're invoking proposition that you don't think are actually true and you cannot justify it. This is what I think personally, and therefore you're doing something wrong.
That's not that. But you didn't explain what I did harmful. You just said that I'm
I just
wrong.
did.
Hold on, no, wait, stop. No, wait, stop. All you told me was that you think I'm wrong in my philosophy. You didn't tell me what harm I caused.
Yes, because you are misleading people. You don't accept basic philosophers' directions and how words are being used. And not only that, you don't know what you're talking about because you cannot understand the states of affairs that exist on how things works. So I believe you are misleading people, which is very harmful.
Okay, so let's say I'm misleading people. What happens?
Yes, I'm saying it's very harmful.
What happens? There has to be a
That's very
consequence.
harmful.
There has to be a consequence. What
Well,
happens?
that is not what are my requirements of what bad is.
That's not your requirement or what harm is. There has to be no. So hold on. So you can cause harm with no consequences.
No, I'm saying you're leading people to the one direction is the bad consequence.
What direction did I lead them in?
Well, to hellfire.
Okay, can you prove hell exists?
Sure. I'll prove God exists right now. Is it possible?
No. I didn't say if you could prove God exists. I said prove hell.
Well, if God exists.
No, wait.
Bible
No, wait.
is
I didn't
going
ask
to
you
hell.
about proving God exists. I said prove hell.
If God exists, then hell exists.
Can you prove hell exists?
Sir? Do you
Sir,
understand how
can you prove
God-
hell exists? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, prove hell. I didn't ask you about God. Prove hell.
Do you understand that if I can prove
Prove hell. I didn't ask you to prove God. Prove hell.
Sir, are you
Prove hell. I didn't ask you to prove God. Prove hell.
Sir, if God
Prove hell. I didn't ask you to prove God. Prove hell exists. Because you're saying that what I'm saying, you're saying that what I'm saying is harmful because it's going to lead people to hellfire. But you cannot show that hellfire actually exists.
That's a loaded question, sir.
It's not a loaded question. You're the one who claimed
Yes,
it.
it is because
You claimed it. No. You made a claim. I'm asking you to prove your claim. It's not a loaded question to ask you to
Sir,
prove your
if the
claim.
God of the Bible is true, then it necessitates hell to exist.
No.
Yes, I'll prove it.
Because you know why? It depends on it. You know why? Because it depends on your it depends on your denomination of Christianity. There are some denominations of Christianity that do not have hell. So why are they wrong? Hold on. Why are they wrong and you're right?
Okay, because we have what we call an apostate succession. We are the disciples of Peter and of Paul saying that this is correct. So I don't care what other denominations
That doesn't
said.
prove that
I
hell is
care about
real.
the people that was God was close to the disciple that got the actual
That doesn't
peace
prove that hell
instead
is
of
real.
somebody that
My
just
friend, my guy,
sir.
my
Then
guy, my
you ask
guy,
another question.
my friend. That doesn't prove that hell is real. Saying that you're the disciple of a disciple means nothing. That doesn't
Sir,
prove
you
that
asked
hell
a
is real.
question about how I'm right in my
Right, right. I
denomination.
asked,
That's what I'm proving.
right. I asked you how are you right and they're wrong. All you told me was that, oh, I'm a disciple
Yes,
of a.
I'm proving you I'm
Be
right
quiet for a second.
by
All you
asking.
be quiet for a second. All you said was that I'm a disciple of a disciple of a disciple. Who cares? That doesn't show that hellfire is real because guess what? Even if what you say is correct, that they believed in hell, they could be wrong.
Nah, it's not possible because the Holy
It
Spirit
is possible because they're human and they could be wrong.
Nah, I would disagree that
What if they
God
misinterpret the
only
Holy Spirit? How
created
you know they didn't misinterpret the Holy Spirit? This is the problem that we're gonna
through
have,
the
bro.
disciple. Can I answer one question for once before you interrupt me?
I've been letting you answer a question and this entire
Every time I'm
and this
answering,
entire
you
discussion, all you did
interrupt
was
me.
call me stupid.
Are
So
you trying to do an echo voicing here? You just want to hear
no,
yourself
I'm not
talk?
trying to do an echo voice. This is the
That's the
second time you
single time
insulted
I'm
me.
trying to finish
Hold
my
on.
argument
Stop
without
crying,
interrupting.
please. Stop crying. I'm gonna let you answer your question, but answer it without being condescending and calling me and implying that I'm stupid. Can you do that?
Okay, good. So I'm gonna answer your entire argument. So the host here is asking a loaded question. Why is it a loaded question? I clearly explained to him that if I can.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you. The reason why I muted you is because I didn't ask you a loaded question. You said that you can prove hell. You said that I'm leading people to hellfire. All I asked you was to prove that hell exists. That's all I asked you. That is not a loaded question at all. You made a claim.
Can I
You
have
made a
a
claim.
conversation?
You made a claim. You made a claim, and all I asked you was to prove it. Don't come up here and
You know how
preamble. Don't
argument
come up here and
works.
preamble. Don't come up here and preamble complaining about what I did. All I asked you was prove
Sir,
hell
do you know
exists.
how
All I
argument
asked you
works,
was
sir?
to prove hell exists. My microphone is louder than yours. Shut the fuck up while I talk. All I asked you was to prove hell exists. I did not ask you a loaded question.
He
So now we have
manifested.
another question of how do you
He's
know
manifesting.
that you are a disciple of the disciples and that they were right and that the people
Sir,
who don't
sir,
and that the
I'm gonna
people who don't believe in hell, how do you know that the people who don't believe in hell are wrong?
God.
Because
Let me go and finish.
simply saying that you're a disciple of a disciple doesn't prove that you're all right. So how do we prove that a hell exists? Can you answer that?
Okay, good. How you prove that hell exists is that by how arguments work that if X is correct, then it validate Y. X will be God, the God of the Christian Bible, and it will validate Y. Because if the God of the Christian Bible is true, then Y would also be true. This is how arguments work. Maybe the host is too low information to understand a simple argument. But let's go to the loaded question. Clearly,
Nicodemus, do me a favor. Do not insult me again. If you insult me again, I'm just gonna go ahead and drop you from this panel because I'm actually trying to have a discussion, but several times you keep interrupting. Not interrupting. You keep insulting me. Do not do that again. All right.
because you're insulting me by interrupting
I
me.
didn't insult you at all. Don't
By
call me low
interrupting
IQ.
me.
Don't call me low IQ or low information. All I asked you was a fucking question.
Okay. Can
So
you
your premise is that if X is true, then Y must be true. All right. So you have to show X to be true, correct?
Sure. Good.
Okay,
Good.
cool.
The X will be the Christian Bible.
Christian
correct?
God. Okay, so cool. Here's the problem. Let's say that we concede that the Christian God is true. That does not necessarily mean that hell must also be true.
Yes, it does.
Okay, why?
Because the Christian Bible promised to the unbelievers is hellfire.
So
Then if therefore the Christian Bible is true, then what the God said would also be true because God cannot lie.
you didn't say the Bible. You said the Christian God.
The Christian God is the one in the Bible, sir.
The Christian God wrote the Bible.
Yes.
Okay, so he's a moral monster, like I was saying before, because he condoned all these.
Well,
So
do
why
not
should I
agree
follow
with your
that?
morality. I do not agree with your morality, sir.
Oh, so grape is fine.
I don't agree with your morality, sir.
So grape
Your
is
morality
okay.
is subjective.
My morality says grape is wrong. You disagree with my morality?
I disagree with the justification of your morality.
My
That's
justification of it is that it decreases human well-being. You
no, your
disagree with that
justification is
justification?
that it came from you. That's
No,
what
no,
I
no. I
say.
said that
That's where
no. My
I
justification, my
disagree with
justification for
Marcus.
saying, my justification for saying that grape is wrong is that it decreases human well-being. You disagree with that?
No, I'm not talking about grape. I'm talking about your morality.
My
If you
morality is
grounded
that
in your
grape is wrong.
morality,
My morality is that grape is wrong.
sir, can I finish my answer at least once when you ask a question?
Okay, let's go ahead and
Please.
start over. My
Oh my goodness.
morality is that grape is wrong. Why would you disagree with that?
Because your background and for your grounding to that is coming from you and not from a source that know every state of affair that exists.
Can you prove that being is every state of affair that exists?
Not that he is everything. That's not my claim. That knows every
Okay,
state of
can you
affair.
prove that? That's what I'm asking. Can you prove that?
Yes, by proving this God existence, therefore I will apply every characteristic of it.
Okay, so if you can prove this God existence, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and for the sake of argument say that God exists. Why did he tell people to great people?
God never tell people to grade people.
Sure he does. You want me to show it?
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay. Before I show it, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna show you an example. Okay. Let's say I'm a soldier, and I'm a soldier in a war, and I go to a neighboring country. If I go to that neighboring country and see a hot girl that I like, I take her back home with me, and after a month I have intercourse with her. Are you gonna say I committed rape?
The grape is when it goes against
When it's
the
non-consensual, correct?
yes, or it is non-consensual.
Okay,
You have to
so
prove
if she's a captive, she can't consent
what make you think that.
because she's a captive. That's what it means.
Well, the prisoner can consent to taking foods, so I will disagree with that.
A prisoner can consent to taking food, but they can't consent to sexual intercourse.
I've seen prisoner consent to having the guards having intercourse with them. So
That's
yes, they
and
have.
that's considered grape.
Not really
Yes,
if you
really,
want it.
yes, it is. It's considered grape.
Grape means against somebody wills. The
Yes,
prisoner
non-consensual.
wanted to
Once
have
a person
intercourse with that
once there's
guard.
different power dynamics, there's no consent. Consent has to have equality. Once there's no equality, there's no consent.
So if I marry a rich woman and she's literally in a power dynamic, that would consider be great for you.
No, you still have you still have the same power.
I'm quite confused. Not really. If I marry the president. Let's say there's a female president that I have intercourse with. Does that mean there is no consent there and I'm being raped?
If you marry the president, no, because you're
If
married.
I had intercourse with the president, would that mean that I have been raped?
If you have intercourse with the president,
Yes.
like the president approached you and then you agree to have intercourse, no, that's not rape.
But clearly there's a power dynamic, sir.
Is the president your boss?
I mean he's kind of the boss of everyone, but
He's
let's say
not.
he is
The
and
president's
I'm
not the
working in
boss.
government. Let's say I'm working in the government and he approached me and she approached me and I said yes.
Grape.
I will disagree with that definition.
Then you
Your
disagree with
definition of
lawyers,
rape,
then, my
sir.
friend. You disagree with lawyers, then.
That I'm
They
quite confused.
yeah, you will go to them and they'll tell you that yeah, that's
Maybe
unethical
we
and it
should
probably
read
is
the
grape.
law together. We should read the law. Which law you agreed with? Let's read the law and see what considered to be actually grape in the law.
You're actually getting away from the
And
point here. You're actually running away from the point.
we're not getting
Would you
away. That's
hold on,
not
hold
my
on? I
point.
asked you if I capture a woman and bring her back home and have intercourse with her, is that grape? We're
If
in a
she's
war
not
and I
willing,
capture a prisoner and have grape with them and have
if she's
intercourse with them.
not willing, then it is. If she is, then it's not.
Okay, so when you go out to war against your enemies and the Lord your God hands them over to you and you take them captive, suppose you see among the captives a beautiful woman whom you desire and want to marry, and so you bring her home to your house. She shall shave her head, pare her nails, discard her captive's garb, and remain in your house a full month, mourning for her father and her mother. After that, you may go into her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife.
Okay, where does it say that the girl is unwilling, or you can do
She's
it
a
if the girl
captive.
doesn't want to get married?
She's a captive.
A
Captives are not willing.
a captive just mean getting
Captives
imprisoned.
are not willing.
to get imprisoned, but the marriage it doesn't consequence it doesn't imply that the
Yes, it
girl has
does.
no choice to
Yes,
stay
it
in that
does.
marriage.
Yes, it
That's an
does.
argument from silence. Show it to
No,
me.
it's not.
Okay, if you don't show it to me, it's an argument from silence. So you therefore putting it in the text without showing it.
No, it's not. Captives are not willing.
Yes, captives are not willing to get captured, but when it
So
comes
they
to
can't
marriage, you have
so anything that
to.
happens after that,
Oh my
they can't be
goodness.
willing. Anything that happens after that, they can't be willing.
That's your assumption. You have to prove
It's
that.
not.
Where does it say she didn't will in that text? Well, you can
She's a
show me,
captive. They can't be. They don't have will after that.
sir. Just because you
Sir,
say I can make it
captives don't
sound.
have will after that. You want to move on to
You have
slavery?
prove that. Prove that they don't have will when they're being
Because
captured.
they're a captive.
Captives just mean a prisoner. That doesn't mean
Yes.
that they don't have their own will.
Prison a ward over a prisoner is a different power dynamic. They don't have the same power. Can a captive leave?
Where we disagree
Can a
with that
captive leave?
paradigm
Can a captive
again and
leave?
again.
Can a captive leave?
They can't leave, but they
Exactly.
can reject the
So they don't
marriage.
have will then.
They're sure they can. They
Because
can still reject the marriage.
that's the ultimate form of their freedom that's the ultimate form their freedom. If they don't have freedom, anything they do after that is under duress. Because they don't have freedom, they can't leave.
Sir, sir.
Hold on, wait. Answer me this. You just said that
I
a captive.
disagree.
Hold on, wait. You just said a captive cannot leave. So how is everything they do afterwards not under duress if they can't leave?
Okay, sure. If I can't leave something and I see a food, I see multiple food, and I can choose between one of those food, does that mean I was forced to eat that food?
You're still under duress. You have to eat one of the foods that's there because you
I
can't.
would disagree
Hold on,
with
wait. Hold on,
I would
Nicodemus.
disagree with your
Because you
definition.
can't. Well, okay, let's do this. Let's say you're a prisoner. You have Popeye's chicken, you have Domino's, and you have Pizza Hut. But what if you want Burger King? Can you leave and go get Burger King?
Nah.
No. So under duress, you only can choose Popeyes, Pizza Hut, and Domino's. You're still under duress.
Sure, I still fully choose whether I eat Popeyes or
But you're
KFC.
doing it under duress. That's my point.
Don't
You
matter.
have
That's
no
the
choice for anything else. It does matter because once you're a captive and you cannot leave, anything you do afterwards is under duress. Even if you have Popeyes, Domino's, and Pizza Hut, you cannot leave and choose Burger King. Under duress, you have to eat one of those three. So anything you do as a captive that you cannot be free is under duress. So yes, getting married and having intercourse is always under duress, which means there is no consent. So this is grape.
consent definition. I will disagree with that definition entirely.
All right, you disagree with the definition entirely. Cool. You're good with grape. Let's go ahead and go on to slavery. Would you like to
Disagree
know?
with the way you're implying it.
So sure, let's talk about slavery. You want to go to slavery?
Sure, let's do that.
As for the male and female slaves whom you may have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. You may also acquire them from among the aliens residing with you and from the families who are with you who have been born in your land. They may be your property. You may keep them as a possession for your children after you, for them to inherit as property. These you may treat as slaves. But as for your fellow Israelites, no one shall rule over them with harshness. So chattel slavery.
So when it comes, they willingly put themselves to slave. It
Wrong.
has nothing to do. Oh, you want me to actually prove that? Let's go to Exodus. Actually, I have a verse. I'm gonna put it on my screen. So
Is that
tell
gonna
me
be
how
the
much.
is that gonna be the Hebrews or that's gonna be the foreigners? I'm not talking about the Hebrews. I'm talking about the foreigners.
Not talking about foreigners. It's just gonna be that they cannot accept any person that has been taken over their will, basically being kidnapped.
Right.
To
But you don't have to be
slave.
kidnapped for you to be a slave, my guy.
Yes, you can be willingly put to be a slave. People back in this time willingly put themselves to be a slave.
In this verse,
But they
in this verse here that I just told you, did they say anything about being a kidnapper or anything like that, or just said you can buy slaves?
Yes, you can buy slave, but the slave that they were instructed to buy, the slave that was instructed to see is the slave.
It doesn't say that.
Sir, they cannot accept or buy anybody that is taken over their own will.
It doesn't say that.
To be kidnapped. I have verses in the Bible. The Bible is not
Okay,
just
the one in Exodus that you're talking about is a verse about kidnapping. It's not a verse about slavery.
kidnapping is taking over somebody over their will, correct?
Right, but that doesn't mean that it's slavery.
Sir, that means they were not taken over their will, correct?
What are you
Were
talking about?
willingly wish. Slavery is when somebody is taken outside of their will.
No,
This is
slavery is
the-
forced labor.
Force mean that is against my will, sir.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be kidnapped in order for that to happen. The verse that
When
you're talking about,
it,
the verse that you're talking about is about kidnapping. It's not about slavery.
sir, taken against the will. So if I'm getting taken over my will, that's basically kidnapping, sir.
But
And
the verse that you're
kidnapping,
talking
right?
about, the verse you're talking about makes a law against kidnapping. It doesn't make a law against slavery because here it
Yeah,
says that they can
because
buy slaves, right?
sir,
Slavery is.
they can buy slave that
Let's go ahead.
that's
Let's go ahead and do your semantics, right? Let's say these people put themselves into slavery. Slavery is still wrong.
I wouldn't call it a slavery. I could call
It
it
is slavery because
employment.
slavery is forced labor and being owned by somebody else.
Sir,
Being the
that's me.
being the property of somebody else, and being forced to work is slavery, right or
Sir, so
wrong?
that's mean if you go to a company and they make you do work for them,
I'm not owned by the
that's mean
company.
you bad.
I'm not owned by the company.
Sir, so owned by the company is taking against their will, right? Because when you
I am
say
not owned by the company. When you are a slave, you are owned by someone else. It literally says they may be your property. Property is actual goods. You're owned by somebody else. You're a thing. You're not a person. You're owned by somebody else. It literally says they may be your property. So even this is under against their will because they're property.
they
So
are
God's literally telling them to do it against their will. Their possessions, their
they
property.
are property in the sense
Against
that
their
you
will,
have
right?
to work for them.
No,
That's
no,
what
no, 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 no,
it's implying.
And but no, it's not. No, it's not. And we know that is,
have this
and we know that's,
belief
and we
in
know that is,
God.
and we know that is not because of extra biblical evidence. If we go
Sir,
to,
I have
if we
no
go to the,
Holy Spirit.
if we go into the historical evidence of what was going on in the Middle East during that time, this was chattel slavery. They were property.
Sir, is that
Not
an
what you're
internal
saying.
One question, is that an internal critique?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. Then if you would have to take the position of the Bible that says that only the people with the Holy Spirit can interpret it, which you don't. So I have it. Which making, if you actually gonna be honest with your
Nah, that's not what internal
your
critique means.
internal
That's not
critique,
what
then
internal critique means.
my
No, that's not
interpretation of my
that's not what
will
internal
be
critique
above
means.
yours.
Internal critique does not mean you have to believe it in order for you to critique it. That's bullshit. I can internally
Not believe it.
I can internally critique Harry Potter. That doesn't mean I believe
That's not
that doesn't
my-
mean I believe wizards
Oh my
are real.
goodness.
I don't have to believe that
That's a
magic.
straw
I don't
man,
have to
sir.
I don't have to believe that magic is real for me to internal critique Voldemort from Harry Potter.
You don't
So
have to
saying
believe, you have to take the
saying that I have to take the position
Oh.
saying I have to take the position that I need the Holy Ghost to read the Bible is bullshit. You can internally critique anything. Hold on, wait, stop. Do I have to believe in magic for me to critique Harry Potter?
I never said you have to
Okay, so you just you just say that. You said I have to have the Holy Ghost.
have
After
to take-
you said I have to take the position that you
Yes.
need to read the Bible with the Holy Ghost. No, you don't.
just because
That's not
you
what
take
internal
the
critique. That's not what internal
position
critique
that you,
means.
sir.
That's not what internal critique
Sir.
means, sir.
Sir,
That's not what internal critique means, sir. No,
I will.
that's not what internal. Shut the fuck up. That's not what internal critique means, sir. Shut up.
I hear-
That is not what internal critique means, sir. Internal critique does not mean you have to believe the context for you to believe it. You just said that in order for me to critique the Bible as an internal critique, I need to go ahead and take that. You have to have the Holy Spirit in order for you to read it. That's bullshit. No, you don't. I don't have to believe in magic for me to critique Harry Potter. I don't have to believe in radioactive spiders for me to critique Spider-Man. What are you talking about?
Okay, the salt is insulting me. It seems that we
Alright,
can't
bro.
really have a conversation.
All right, bro. Stop crying.
He doesn't know
Stop
what
crying.
internal-
Stop crying. Stop crying. Y'all stay crying, bro. Y'all stay crying. He was out of time anyway.
I think your point's a little invalid because there's a lot of times throughout history where if you've never been in that situation,
Wait for a
you
second.
never
Wait for a
really-
second. Wait for a second. Wait for a
Hold on,
second.
bro.
Wait for a second. Are you over 18?
Am I what?
Are you over 18 for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, I'm 21. I'm 21. This is an old picture of me. I was born on February 10, 2003.
Okay, cool. And you disagree with what I have on the board, right?
Yeah, I
Okay,
mostly
cool. Go
disagree
ahead.
with your last discussion because you basically are saying that experiences in certain areas don't matter and that you can critique things if you've never been in them. You can never critique something unless you've been in that situation, right? If you and me right now were born, let's say, in the Mongolian army when they raided over the world, we wouldn't be who we are, and we wouldn't critique those things because it was normal for us, right? But from an outside perspective, because you thought it was wrong, you're critiquing it because we're not in that society or that certain setting.
Yeah,
it's
so?
very exactly. So you can't really critique something unless you've been in it.
Yeah, we can.
Like, yeah, but you don't have an experience with this, so you're
Doesn't matter.
biased.
Doesn't matter.
But your experience is biased, brother.
No, that that doesn't. Okay, hold on. So you're saying that we can't say what Hitler did was wrong?
We can, but if you're in
Okay,
that
but we weren't
situation,
there.
you're following
We weren't in a
but
situation.
you, but
That's how
you,
silly. Hold on, wait. This is what you're saying is
that's not
silly.
my point.
Hold on. You just said that if we weren't there and we couldn't experience it, then we can't critique it. None of us
But
were
you're
there. Hold on. Let me finish. You just said that if we weren't there, then we can't really critique it because we didn't experience it. None of us were alive to experience Hitler.
No, we can
but we
critique
hold,
it.
bro. Be quiet for a second. None of us were there to experience Hitler, but we can still critique what he did was wrong. So you saying that you're saying that we can't really critique something unless we're there is bullshit.
Well, you're basically saying that if you were in that situation, you wouldn't do what everyone else did, but that's what everyone.
That's
else
not what
is
I'm
probably
saying. That's not what I'm saying. I didn't say that at all. I didn't say that I would have done something different. I would hope I would have done something different, but I do live in that society.
You wouldn't,
For
though.
example,
You wouldn't.
hold
Jordan Peterson has a whole-
on. Be quiet for a second. I probably wouldn't do anything different. You're correct about that. But hundreds of years later, when people critique me, they can call me wrong because it would
Yeah,
still be wrong.
But again, my point is they're judging from an outside perspective that they've never been in.
So
their
what?
judgment is invalid.
No, it's not
Because when you're
invalid.
judging
It's
someone,
not
you're
invalid.
basically saying-
It's not
but
invalid.
when you- okay,
Is your
if I-
judgment of Hitler invalid?
No, it's not.
Exactly,
in a
but
way
you're
it is,
in an
because
outside
I'm
perspective.
basically-
No, not in a way. 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 No way. In a way. Not in a way.
But when you're judging,
Not in a
you're
way.
basically saying-
Your critique of Hitler is not invalid, my guy.
Let me speak. When
Go
you're
ahead.
saying that he did horrible things, you're basically saying you never do those things, correct? That's what you're judging him.
Correct.
Right? Correct? But you would probably do the same things if you were in that setting. That's my point, bro.
So
That's what I'm trying to say. So it's bias. What do you mean it's bias?
So?
You're biased based on your
let's go ahead.
experience.
Let's go ahead and go with your what you're saying.
Come on, bro.
Let's go ahead and go with what you're saying. It's bias.
Yeah.
So what?
I think it's wrong. You think it's wrong, correct? But
Correct.
Our bias comes from a point where we've never had to experience those things or be in that setting in that propaganda where our brain is manipulated, right?
So what?
So that's my point. You're judging from an outside perspective.
So
You've
what?
Never been in that.
So what?
It's a hypocritical point.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's
dude.
not.
It is.
What's the definition of hypocrisy?
Basically, you are judging someone and something, even though you probably would do or have done the same thing. Right. So if you and me were in that setting, we would probably do the same thing.
That's
that
not the
someone else
definition
would
of
judge us.
hypocrisy. Definition of hypocrisy is a person who acts in a way that goes against what they claim to believe or is real or feel.
Okay.
That's the
So,
definition of hypocrisy. Saying that if I were to go, if I lived back in those days, I probably wouldn't view slavery as wrong is not hypocrisy.
If you're a white man who born to a farmer, you would not think it's wrong. What are you talking about? You wouldn't think it's wrong.
That I just
You
said
were
that.
brainwashed.
I just said that.
Ex-
I just said
Exactly. So someone would
if
judge
I just
you-
said if I was living in a different time, I probably would feel a different way. That's not hypocrisy.
No, but that's not. I'm not saying it's hypocritical when you're thinking from an outside perspective.
No, it's
If you're
not.
saying like,
No, it's
but
not.
it is though.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
You're saying
Because
the
I'm
only
not
thing
acting I'm not acting in a way that's different from what I claim to feel.
But you would be if you were in that setting,
But I'm not. So how's that hypocritical?
because you're basic. When
You can't say something is hypocritical because of the past. What? That makes no sense at
When you're-
all.
when you're-
That makes
when
we
you're
can't go
judging
back in bro. We can't go back in time. We can't go back in time.
brother. But when you're judging those people, you're saying you're better than them. You're
I am better than them.
You wouldn't.
I am better than them. I'm way better than them.
Position. You're not, because you. Would do
Yes,
the
I
same
am.
thing if you're in their position. It's
So?
they did horrible things.
Yes, they did horrible things. But I'm not in their position. So now I'm in a better position, which makes me a better person because I'm not in there.
But when you judge like that, you're basically saying even if you were in their position, you wouldn't do the same things.
That's not what I'm
That's
saying
what
at
you're
all.
judging. That's what you're judging them.
That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm judging is their
Now it's-
actions.
okay.
What I'm judging is their
When you
actions
judge-
because I know
When you
better.
judge people nowadays, you're basically saying, "Oh, if I had those parents, if I had that relationship, whatever, I wouldn't do that thing." You're basically saying that someone's worse than you
Mm.
because they're behaving the way you wouldn't behave if you were in that situation.
No,
So it's the same thing.
no. They're behaving worse than
Yes,
me
bro.
because no, they're behaving worse than me.
Because they're
They're
not-
behaving worse than me.
Hey.
They're behaving worse than me because their behavior was worse than what I act today. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Never
It
been.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It does.
It does not matter. It does not
Your
matter. It does
environment-
not fucking matter. It does not matter. It does not matter if I was back then or now. It doesn't matter.
Okay, why does it not matter? Because of time?
Yes, it
So
doesn't
you're
matter
saying the
because of
only thing
time.
that you're saying the only thing that separates you from those people is not
Is
your morals and your
time.
ethics. It's
Is
time,
time.
exactly. And
Right.
that's
Not.
luck.
That's not.
Luck.
That's not. Yeah, it is luck.
Luck and
You're correct. It
randomness.
is luck. You're correct that it is
Exactly.
luck. You're correct that it is luck, but it's not hypocrisy.
So you should have a more like
No.
awareness that hey, these people did bad things, but
No.
if I was in that situation, I probably wouldn't do any better. So I shouldn't judge.
No. I'm
Because
still gonna.
obviously that person did bad things too.
I'm still gonna judge because what they did was shitty.
But you would do the same thing.
So.
That's my.
And
Bro,
if I was
so I don't
if I was
even
living
know.
if I was living back then, I would also be shitty if I did the same thing.
But I brought the point that nowadays, if you see someone in a
Bro,
certain
who cares?
situation,
No, bro. This is stupid.
does matter.
Hold on, bro. This is stupid. This is stupid. This is
not
stupid. It's very stupid. Hold on, be quiet for a second because I gotta let Jesse go. Be quiet for a second. I gotta let Jesse talk to you real quick. This is stupid. It does not matter that if I lived back then, I would have done the same thing. I'm living in now, and I can judge what they did back then. Okay, like it really doesn't matter. If I was living back then, I probably would have did those shitty things too. And guess what? If people were alive today and judge me from back then, I was a king who did shitty things. They would have every right to do that because I was a shitty king. So it's this is really stupid. You're saying that we don't have time machines to go back then, so we just have to be understanding. Fuck all that. What are you talking about?
Supposed to be understanding.
No, we're not.
From perspective.
No, we're not. Fuck those people. What are you saying? Jesse, go ahead. Go ahead. I gotta get a drink of water. Go ahead, Jesse.
I'm 36. I'm an atheist. I'm also a Satanist, but I agree that I do have better morals than Yahweh. I
How
think
do you have
most
better
Christians do.
morals? Your God
I
once
think
said your
I
God
thought it was
hates
my turn to speak.
humans.
It
Your
was my
God
turn to
hates
speak.
humans.
Okay, cool.
What?
You're God. You're God. I don't believe. I don't have a God. I am my God.
A Satanist is someone who
So,
worships the devil.
anyways, when there is a religion that's used to determine human value of other people and is put into law and policy, it absolutely deserves scrutiny from all ends.
Really? I mean, most of human values come
It's
from.
definitely fair.
Hold
It's
on.
definitely fair to scrutinize a
Jesse,
religion
most of the values
that
you
people are
hold is
using
from
to
God.
determine human value. It's
Jesse,
absolutely up
most
for
of the
scrutiny.
values you hold is from God. You understand that, right? If you go
No,
throughout
they don't.
history,
Well, I don't
yes,
believe
they
in God.
do,
And I don't believe in the
bro.
devil. The only thing sillier than an imaginary
Bro,
friend
but
is an imaginary
your
enemy.
parents believe in something else, and they tell you right morals. Those morals are passed down through religion. You understand that, right?
No, it's passed down through indoctrination.
That that's the
Indoctrination's
indoctrination of,
real,
bro.
and
What do you
that's
think?
not good. It's
Hold on,
not
what do you?
indoctrination is not good.
Okay, so you think murder is wrong, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why do you think murder is
That,
wrong?
and I don't need a leash. I don't need a leash to
Hold
tell
on.
me that.
Why do you
I
think
can be a
murder?
good person without a leash.
Why do you think
It's
murder is
wrong
wrong?
because it's bad for our
What
society.
do you think
Because
that came
I
from?
wouldn't want anybody to do it to me.
What do you think that
I
came
wouldn't want
from?
anybody to do it to me. I didn't need God to tell me that.
Okay, but what do you think that came from?
It came from the fact that I wouldn't want that done to me.
No, you're not answering my question. It's not about you. It's about the origin. What do you think murder being wrong came from?
From people think it wouldn't.
No, it came
People that
from
don't want
a
it done
lot
to
of
them.
people, even though they had
You just gonna say no in the middle of my answer? This is what y'all do.
No, it's not all y'all. Don't judge with other people. You don't know me. You don't know anything
This is
about me.
you're representing them fairly well right about now.
Almost every religion it says that murder is wrong when you're a god. As a god, it tells you because it's passed
Yeah,
down from
religion can say it
Even
and
if you
people can
believe
say
in
it.
Muslim, exactly. That's my point.
Okay, and I don't believe in God, and I'm still saying it's wrong.
Your morals are passed down from a religion you think doesn't
And
exist.
guess what?
You're
My
using
morals,
those
the fact that it's just wrong, is going to be passed down to my children and
But
hopefully to
you
their
think it's
children.
wrong because other people passed it down to you
No, I
who
think it's
believe in that
yeah.
God.
My parents did indoctrinate me, and I got out of the bullshit. I've been 8 years
So you
clean of it.
probably think it's right to kill people.
No, I
No,
said
we
I
don't.
think it's wrong because I wouldn't want it
Okay.
done to me.
Okay.
This is why I got better morals than your God.
No, you don't. But okay.
Most Satanists have better morals than your God. Some Christians have
That's
better
not
morals than
true.
their God.
That's not true. You believe in something that hates you.
Let's go up.
I don't believe in anything. And also, you're
Nah, he left.
simping for a God who rage quit and flooded the world and preaches forgiveness and lost his mind over an apple. Come on now.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
left. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. He left. How's it going, Jesse?
It's going good.
You
I just
doing-
kind of wanted to chime in. I know you don't like to keep like an echo chamber,
No, it's all good.
Hello?
but you know I host these all the time. This is my jam.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is probably gonna be the last guest. 'Cause I don't think I have anyone else. Gail, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me on your panel. I'm 23, male. Let's just get right to the meat and potatoes of this debate.
Yeah, sure. I think I have better morals than Yahweh, and I think you will also have better morals than Yahweh. You disagree?
So, yeah. So I guess my first line of questioning then would just be, where do you draw your morality from?
I draw more morality from things like consequences, degrees of harm, equality, and what was the other thing I was gonna say? Consequences, degrees of harm, equality, and human well-being. Basically, everything that an empathetic person should agree with. Empathy, essentially.
So, okay, I guess these are multiple different points. I'll just target consequentialism, for example. What makes a consequence objectively good or bad from a moral standpoint?
Whether it has the other ones like its harm is degrees of basically it's degrees of harm, and whether it has pro or antisocial results.
Yeah, well, I guess, would you describe yourself as a utilitarian then?
Um, you would have to explain what that means, because I might know the language, but I might not have the word to actually
Okay,
put onto it.
basically utilitarian, and there's multiple different forms of it, but essentially utilitarianism is whatever produces the most happiness, whatever utilizes the most happiness, we should put for policy, and we should promote for ethics.
For the most part, yeah. That depend on the consequences, but yeah, for the most part.
Okay, yeah, and I guess my next question then is, do you subscribe to like the secular humanist manifestos?
The what?
The secular humanist manifestos published by the American Atheist Organization, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with most of it. I agree with it mostly. Yeah, from what I read.
Okay. So I guess my next question then is, where do you draw that human? I actually, just so I make sure I steelman your position before I actually get into the objection. Would you say that human flourishing should be the goal of ethics then?
Like human flourishing. Yeah, I would say yeah, that's the goal. We want to flourish as much as possible.
I guess then the question is like, why is that good versus, say, humans not actually flourishing? Like, why is that objectively better?
Because we see the consequences of it. When humans don't flourish, like, people are worse off.
Yeah, but that's an is statement. I'm just asking for an ought. Like, why ought we have to have humans flourish versus ought not having humans flourish? That makes sense.
Because of the is statement.
Well, it's a descriptive, but you're trying to make a prescriptive statement then, that's saying that essentially that, oh, well, human flourishing is a good thing.
No, I'm not.
You're not providing an actual justification beyond it just makes me feel good.
I think that's really all the justification that. Well, that's not all the justification that we need. My bad. Okay, human flourishing should good, because we see the consequences of what happens when humans do flourish. More people are alive. There's less crime. There's less harm being caused. So human flourishment has pro-social consequences.
Yeah, and I guess my question is, why should we have pro-social consequences, not anti-social consequences?
Because I don't want to live in that type of world where we're suffering.
So it's your subjective viewpoint, ultimately?
I think it's everyone's viewpoint. Do you want to live in a world where we suffer?
No, I know a couple
Yeah,
people
exactly.
that have told me directly. I don't. No, I said no. Not everyone agrees with that. Most people may agree with that, but that's not a good epistemological justification for any sort of position. Is appeal to popularity, obviously.
Well, I'm not trying to appeal to
out there who believe.
I'm not trying to appeal to popularity. What I'm saying is that for the most part, human beings don't want to suffer. So it's not preferable.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is that there's some people out there who would actually argue against that. And what's your actual moral justification against them then?
For them, they want more human suffering.
Yeah, some people do.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So there are some people who want to watch the world burn, and they want more human suffering. But like the way that human beings have evolved, that's not preferable. And anyone who tries to do that, we remove them from our society.
Well, I don't think evolution is necessarily a good standard for morality, because evolution, there's a constant rate of change that you're attributing to it.
Yeah, correct.
If you're trying to base your...
But when it comes to a social species, what social species try to do as every social species tries to make their group flourish and have be pro-social as much as possible. There's no social species that they want everyone else to be harmed. Like none of them operate that way.
So I guess just a clarifying question then, would you I guess would you base your morality on evolution?
It's not really evolution. It's basically empathy. And if you ask me where this empathy comes from, we evolved it because we're a social species.
Yeah, so then that kind of just then says that's just a long way of saying yes then, because it's like, okay, why do we have empathy? Because it benefits us evolutionarily speaking, so it does come from evolution.
It comes from
that
evolution,
just
yeah.
kind of begs the question. Yeah, so that just begs the question. Evolution's constantly in change. Say, for example, if there's some sort of evolutionary need to where we have to lose empathy to flourish more as a species, would you agree with losing empathy then?
I probably wouldn't, but that's just subjective to me.
Well, if it's ultimately subjective, then why are you making objective moral claims that your morality is better than God? It doesn't make sense.
Because my morality is better than him because he promoted harm, and I don't.
Yeah, but you haven't provided an actual like objective reason of why we should oppose harm. Your whole
Because-
background, I'll just grant you
because we
just
don't-
for the purpose of this argument.
Because we don't prefer it. Literally, that's it.
Yeah. If we just don't prefer it, but say someone does prefer it, you have two paradigms now clashing that are diametrically opposed to each other. Which one's actually true?
The one that, which one is actually? What do you mean? Which one is actually true?
Yeah. So say for example, I come from a paradigm that says that harm is not objectively evil, and your paradigm says yes, it is evil. Which one is objectively true then? You can't have two opposing positions that are both objectively true. That violates the law of the excluded middle.
Oh yeah, right. Neither would be objectively true at that point.
It
would just be
objective moral statement.
it would just be on what we prefer at that point. What most people prefer at that point.
Yeah, well then again, that's A, an appeal to popularity, and B, it's ultimately just an appeal to subjectivity. You can't make an objective moral statement about something you ultimately would agree that is subjective.
I'm making objective observations because objectively, you already said that yes, some things do cause harm, like rape and slavery. Those things objectively cause harm.
Yeah.
So I'm making objective statements. If I'm saying that yes, these things objectively cause harm, and if you say that you don't care, that's fine that you don't care. But as a society, we care about what causes harm and what doesn't. So at that point, it doesn't matter what you would think, unless you're part of another society that says we like to have more harm, but your society won't survive long after that.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily true. In terms
Yeah,
of
it is. You have to work
real quick,
together. You have to work together.
No. Let me make the argument real quick.
Sure.
So, this is a bit of unrelated tangent, so I'll keep it quick. But there's definitely, I would say, majority of human history, societies did use a lot of harm. Obviously, you have like the Aztecs, for example, with the human unalivings through their gods. You obviously have the European colonization, which inflicted massive amounts of harm upon the native populations, etc., etc. So obviously, harm, when utilized by society, can actually cause that society to flourish. I'm not necessarily advocating for that, obviously. That's just a separate diatribe. And to get back on topic now, at least, again, you're still not providing an objective reason of why we should oppose harm beyond either A, the majority is opposed to it, B, it's based off of evolution, which is constantly is objectively changing constantly, or C, just it's your own personal feelings, which then it is subjective, which then begs the question of, okay, if morality is subjective, then why are you trying to make objective moral claims about something that's ultimately subjective and doesn't objectively exist? It's silly.
So yeah, like morals don't objectively exist, right? Yeah, you're right. It's all basically our opinions. Like there's no objective morals. I agree with you there. But like if you were to say that, like, I have no objective reason for saying that we could oppose harm because the majority of us don't want it, that really is the objective reason. Most of us don't want it.
Yeah, but that's, like I said before, that's the appeal to popularity. And, like, for example, majority of people used to believe the Earth is flat and used to believe that the Earth was the center of the universe, which both are obviously not true.
Mm-hmm.
So that reasoning doesn't follow.
No, the reasoning still still falls because we're not talking about like an objective thing like the Earth being the center of the universe.
Okay, so then that just begs the question then, if morality is subjective, then why are you trying to make objective moral statements about what is objectively the best path to morality? That's like
Be-
me, for
because
example,
I'm making
saying
objective
pizza is.
right. Because the thing is, I'm making objective observations that you already agreed with.
Yeah, well, I can't agree with those statements that obviously rape, slavery, etc. They all cause harm,
Hmm.
but that still doesn't provide the ought. That still doesn't provide the reason why we should reduce harm.
Because we
Because
don't prefer it.
ultimately, it's just
We don't prefer
yeah,
it.
because we don't prefer it. Okay, so then it's two preferences. These preferences disagree. Why are you trying to push your preferences upon, say, Christians, for example, who would obviously disagree with you and say God is the objective standard of morality?
Because of the consequences.
Oh, what consequences?
We've seen the consequences of what of like basically fundamentalist Christianity, not even fundamentalist Christianity, just in a like, for example, like I've always said, my parents are from the Caribbean, right? Like that society operates almost totally from a biblical frame of view. Homosexuals are in danger for their lives down there. So I've seen the consequences of what happens when we go through this frame of view. So the consequences are there. If I see that it has negative social consequences, why would I prefer that? And you don't have to follow what
Yeah,
I said. I'm not trying to push anything. I'm just discussing stuff. I'm just discussing stuff. You don't have to follow what I say. If you don't care what I say, then you don't care.
well, obviously, I'm up here to disagree with you, so I don't think you're necessarily trying to convince me or trying to convince your audience, and I'm doing the same exact thing, obviously, right? So we can both agree to that at least.
Mhm.
But ultimately, though, that still doesn't answer the question, because at least within the Christian paradigm, we have that objective source of morality. We have objective morals. We can make an objective moral statement saying, for example, hey, homosexuality is bad, for example, or say atheism is bad, etc., etc. You, though, because ultimately you would agree that morality is ultimately subjective, you can't make an objective moral statement saying Christianity is bad because it causes more harm to X group, say, like you mentioned before, homosexuals,
Well, I never said that
because
Christianity.
morality is ultimately subjective.
My bad. Okay, my bad for interrupting you. I didn't say Christianity in of itself is a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. My opinion is that from if we see a biblical moral framework, how it actually works in society, I see what harm that it can cause, and not just Christianity. That could be almost any religion. We're seeing that with Hinduism over in India right now, and we see it in Buddhism with Myanmar. When religious fervor takes over, it always leads to harm of other human beings. That always happens objectively. So, like, if I don't want harm of other human beings, if I want an increase of well-being, of human well-being, then I'm not going to agree with religious fervor being the main frame view of society. That's the first thing. But the second thing I would say is that I don't agree that Christians have objective morals either. What they have is a dictate from a deity that we don't know actually exists.
So
Because
I guess
I'm sorry, let me just add one last thing. I'm sorry. Because
no
like,
worries,
for
no worries. I
example,
thought you were
the
finished.
example that you brought up with homosexuality. Yeah, sure, your deity says that it's wrong, but that doesn't give me a reason to care, or does it show why it's wrong in the first place? He just doesn't like it.
You done? I just don't want to interrupt you.
No problem. What I would say is that from if I analyze that, then I don't think Christians have an objective morals either. They just have the dictates of a deity. That's all you have. Not really a system of objective morals.
So I would actually respond to saying that God's nature. Second point first. At least within the Christian worldview, most Christians would hold to this view that God's nature is objectively good. He is unchanging, and by definition, he would be perfect in all aspects, which would include morality. And again, to get back to the first point about, okay, well, we see in, like, Arabia, for example, with Islam, Myanmar with Buddhism, India with Hinduism, the Americas with Christianity, et cetera, that, there's harm and suffering caused by these religions. You still haven't given me an ought of why harm should be avoided by society beyond it personally offends you and personally offends the majority of people. Like we've already agreed to, obviously, to a pure appeal to popularity is not a valid argument.
No,
And ultimately, and ultimately, though, the debate is about I have better morals than Yahweh. So whether or not God is actually true or not, it is not relevant to this debate. What is relevant is your morality being better. and that's an objective moral statement. But ultimately, you're making an objective moral statement, an objective statement about morality, which you hold to be subjective and not actually real. That's where the confusion comes in.
Right, but I've already explained this from a subjective standpoint. I can make objective observations, which you've already agreed with, and you've asked me that. I haven't given you the odd. I have given you the odd. We don't prefer it. Now you're saying that that's just a appeal to popularity. An appeal to popularity in this case would be valid because again, there is no world where PDF files, like where the world would prefer PDF files. You know what I'm saying? And if the world did prefer PDF files, that's causing massive harms on children. I don't see why we would prefer that.
Yeah, and I obviously, just from a subjective viewpoint, I think most people would agree with obviously PDF files being bad for obvious reasons because it harms children. But ultimately, you're still not giving the ought of why harming is objectively wrong. Instead, you have said, okay, it's ultimately subjective for my subjective worldview, which ultimately, okay, so
Okay, harming
if it's
is
subjective,
harming is ultimately wrong because we know what harm does.
what, that it hurts people?
It hurts people. Why would we prefer that?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I guess like why should nihilists care if it hurts people? Ultimately, as you said before, it is subjective, and also depending on what you mean by hurt, some people may actually say that sometimes a little bit of pain goes a long way towards improving someone's moral characters. Obviously, like for example, you do something bad to a society as a kid. I don't know, say you're playing baseball and you throw the ball in someone's window and the window breaks, right?
Mhm.
And then you get shamed, maybe get grounded for a couple weeks. You'd have to do a summer job to pay it off, but pay that shaming and you being forced to do that job went a long way. Excuse me. That would be, I guess, subjectively good in your worldview, then, because now that person has the ethics of hard work, which can provide for society.
Right, but like remember, I'll always say the degrees of harm. Breaking someone's window is not the same. It's not on the same level as a PDF file touching a child. Those are way different degrees of harm.
We're talking
Well,
about
how?
trauma, and that's just like when people say, "Oh, they went through trauma that made them strong." When they didn't need to be strong, they need to be safe. Like we're talking about things that cause trauma.
So,
Right.
but
I mean,
ultimately,
the thing is, if you're saying ultimately, why should we be against harm because it hurts people, and you're saying why should we be against what hurts people, is that we've seen the consequences of what happens when people are hurt. When people go through trauma, when people are hurt, when we have things like slavery and genocide, we've seen the consequences of those things, and the consequences are always negative. So we should be against negative things happening. Why should we not be? Now, if you're gonna ask me, if you're gonna ask me why should a nihilist care, I'm gonna tell you he shouldn't. It doesn't matter if the nihilist cares or not. But if we want
So
to,
then
if it's gonna depend on what type of society do we want to live in. Do you want to live in a society where people are raping, have slavery, and genocide? If you want to live in that type of society, go ahead and try to start one. It's not gonna be successful.
No, I obviously I wouldn't argue for society, and right now we're not necessarily debating about society. I mean, if we want to get on a topic, we can, and I have arguments against atheism from that standpoint too. But right now, I'm just looking for justification of why we ought to avoid harm beyond it personally harms my worldview. I personally don't like people breaking windows all the way up to
No,
trauma, PDF files.
again. It's not anything personal. We see the objective consequences of these things. They always have negative consequences. Always.
Yeah, but you're not understanding the objection. I'm objecting to why should I actually care about that? And it seems
You
like
shouldn't.
conceded
Go.
point when you say
You shouldn't care about
well
it.
then,
But the question is not about whether or not
but
you
then
should
you
care.
just, when I brought up the moral nihilist, you ceded that okay, we shouldn't. The moral nihilist doesn't care. They don't actually have to care.
They don't have to.
So then
No,
it's like
but that's not the question. You
okay.
don't have to care. That's not my point. That's not my point at all. You don't have to care. It's not about you caring.
Well, then, obviously, that's just the logical entailment of your philosophy of moral subjectivity, which then also then entails that I shouldn't actually care if you have better morals than God or not, even if you objectively did.
You shouldn't.
Like, why should I care?
Why should I care about yours?
Because my morality is objectively true, I would argue, but that's not necessarily related to debate right now.
Let's say it is. Why should I care?
But Because God said so.
I don't care. Fuck God.
Okay.
There you go.
I
You know
mean,
what I'm saying? So it's like we're at the tail end of we're basically at the tail end of this because I have no reason to care about Yahweh either.
Well, I mean, like I said before, and again, I don't want to turn this to is God real debate because that's completely off topic to the prompt.
Right. I understand, but what I'm saying is that if you're gonna ask me why should a nihilist care about mine, and I see to you that it doesn't matter, they shouldn't, and you're gonna say, oh, well that makes my entire thing a wash. I'm gonna ask you the same thing. Why should I care about yours? I don't care about God either. So it's like we're both reaching the same conclusion. Like you don't have to care about mine. I don't have to care about yours.
No, it doesn't reach the same conclusion because I can actually make objective moral claims. You cannot.
Sure, I can.
By your own admission, you can't.
No, you can't. You can't either. Because this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. Even if God does exist, it's still even his morals are still subjective because they're they're dependent on God, right?
And like I said before, God's nature is all perfect, at least within most religious worldviews. God's nature is perfect, being that he has all the omni-properties of omniscient, omnipotency, eternal existence, without beginning and end, etc., etc., etc. That means, by definition, since he is unchanging, he would have to be perfect, including his morality would have to be perfect as well.
Also, slavery is fine then.
That's not related to the argument.
Yeah, it is. Because he said it is because he said he can do it.
Well, you haven't provided an objective reason why I should actually not care for slavery then. Like I don't know if you listened.
Wait, hold on. So when I asked you slavery is fine, then you're okay with slavery?
If God actually commanded that to be a universal thing, I would have to by divine command theory. But that's not
right.
my position.
That's why I've said I have better morals than Yahweh because I don't agree with something. That's why I said I don't agree with something that causes so much harm.
Okay, and why is slavery objectively wrong then?
Because it causes harm.
And why should I care about harm?
It doesn't matter if you care about it or not.
I shouldn't care.
No, but the thing is, hold on, wait. But Gail, your question that you asked was, why is slavery objectively wrong? And I said it causes harm. That's the answer. Saying why should you care is a completely different subject. It doesn't matter if you care or not. It's objectively wrong because it causes harm. Whether you care about harm or not has nothing. Hold on, wait. Whether you care about harm or not has nothing to do with that.
It totally is relevant because your whole justification of why I should care about slavery being wrong or not.
I didn't say you should care about it. I didn't say you should care about it. I didn't say anything about you caring about it. The question that you asked was why is it objectively wrong? It's objectively wrong because it causes harm. Whether you care about harm, is irrelevant. It causes harm.
It's not irrelevant because that's your justification.
Does it cause harm?
Of slavery is wrong.
Does it cause harm?
Exactly. That's my.
Hold on. My question is, does it cause harm?
Yes.
That's why. Hold on. Wait. Stop. If slavery causes harm, that's why it's wrong. You caring about that is irrelevant.
No, it's not. It's not irrelevant at all.
It is relevant because harm doesn't matter what. Harm is not based on whether we care about it or not. Harm is harm.
No. You haven't provided justification for why harming human beings is objectively wrong.
I haven't provided a justification for why harming human beings is objectively wrong.
Yes, and
it has a negative consequence.
You have ceded to me that
it has a negative consequence.
Okay, and why is having a negative consequence objectively wrong?
The negative consequence is the object. What are you talking about?
That's the whole question. You're saying, oh, this objectively causes harm, therefore it has a negative consequence, therefore it's wrong. Okay, why? Why is it objectively wrong?
Because it has a negative consequence. What are we talking about?
Well, that's a circular. That's circular then. Okay, harm is wrong because of the negative consequence. Negative consequences are wrong because it causes harm. That's the circular argument. Like, you haven't provided an actual justification for why slavery is wrong. I could say slavery is objectively wrong from a Christian view because it harms God's image, which is humanity.
But God said to do it.
You're entirely correct about that. Within
exactly. So I have.
Wait. Hold up, because you're making a false equivocation fallacy.
No, I'm not.
Slavery back in the day of Old Testament Judaism was, and the Roman Empire was not the same type of slavery that was experienced in the
Wrong.
America, for example.
That's
right?
wrong. That's wrong. It was.
It's not wrong.
Was the slavery in
They
America?
owned
it's not.
Hold on. Was the
they
slavery
owned
in
other people as property.
Yeah? Was the slavery in America
That
chattel?
in America, yeah, it was
In America, it was chattel. In ancient Israel, was it chattel?
I would say definitely in ancient
It
Israel
was.
and in Rome too.
Yeah, it
In
was
Rome, too,
exactly.
they
So it was. It was. It was the
had
same
more
thing.
privileges and rights
No,
than
they did not.
America. And regardless,
No, they did not. No, they did
regardless of
not. They
that,
were. It was. It was chattel. It was chattel.
regardless of that, you have the Old Covenant versus the
It
New
was.
Covenant as
It
well.
was. It was chattel slavery. No, I don't care about Old Covenant versus New Covenant. You just said God is unchanging.
Hey,
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Wait. Hold on, Gail. The reason why it doesn't matter because you just said God is unchanging, so it wouldn't matter. If he's
No,
unchanging,
no,
if he's unchanging, then he's the same God that commanded slavery. So fuck him. But the second thing I would say, hold on. But the second.
That's a false entailment.
But you said he's unchanging. But so
First, before we get
you,
into it.
no, you just he's unchanging. So it doesn't matter. He's unchanging. He's the same God that commanded slavery. So fuck him. But the second thing I would say is that I did provide a justification. We do not prefer negative consequences. If things are if something has a negative consequence and we see the results of that negative consequence objectively, then that's what makes it wrong. If we see that PDF files touching children has a negative consequence of them going through trauma, of them not being productive, of them becoming abusers themselves, et cetera, that continues a perpetual cycle of negativity, that's what makes it wrong. Are you saying that negative cycles of the wrongness is the negative cycle is the cycle of negativity? That's the wrongness right there. Does that make sense?
So, I get your argument, but I guess I'll just go second point first and the first point last. The second point is, as you've already stated, it is ultimately a cycle that causes negativity. And I guess my question is, why is negativity objectively wrong? And your whole statement would be it causes harm. Like, okay, if it causes harm, why should I objectively believe harm is bad because it causes negativity? That's a circular argument. That's like me saying God is real because the Bible says so. How do we know the Bible is real? Because God says so. Obviously, that's a horrible argument, and you would rightly point that out. That's circular logic. You're doing the exact same thing. Secondly, and more importantly, or maybe not more importantly, this is actually less important because this is a bit of a tangent off from the debate. When it comes to biblical slavery, the fact that there is an Old versus New Covenant is entirely important. Precisely because you can read throughout the whole Bible, and multiple times God directly says to the Israelites, I have chosen you not because you're a people of moral character. No, you people are the absolute worst and the most stubborn people. I don't have the exact Bible verses on hand. I'm not like one of these evangelicals that could just spit Bible verses at you left, right, and center. But this is found in multiple verses throughout the Old Testament. And with the New Covenant, obviously, we could both agree slavery is wrong, and I have the actual objective moral justification for why, because it causes harm to God's image.
But again, God said to do it. That's the problem. If you're gonna say that it causes harm to God's image, that's not objective either. Because who cares about God's image? I don't have to care about God's image. You don't have to care about God's image. And at the end of the day, if it causes harm to God's image, why would He say to do it? Like that's a kind of a ridiculous argument. And the thing is, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is not a circular argument. You're asking why is negative consequences wrong? What I'm saying is wrong and negative are the same thing. It's like asking, basically what you're asking me is why is blue blue? That makes no sense.
So, no, it's not. It's ultimately not because why is blue blue, for example? Obviously, that's a ridiculous argument, and you would say that's circular. Blue is blue because it's blue. Obviously, blue is ultimately just our measurement or meaning of that specific wavelength in
Right,
light.
and negative things are wrong
then-
because they're negative.
Negative things are wrong because negative.
Because they're negative.
My question to you is why is it objectively negative then? And ultimately, as you see in the earlier debate, morality is ultimately subjective, so that doesn't make sense. And to get back to Old Covenant versus New Covenant,
It's objectively
God's
negative
prescriptions-
because of its consequences.
Wait,
Like
let
we're
me-
gonna
let me-
keep
let me
going.
make the- let me
Go ahead.
Let me make the argument real quick, and this is probably my last argument because I'm going to be needed somewhere else pretty soon. So this has been a fun chat, by the way. I hope you at least had fun. I know we don't see eye to eye on basically probably any issue, maybe besides obviously like grape. My fault. rape, slavery, G-side being bad, obviously, right? But ultimately, to just get back to my argument, just because
Hey,
God makes a certain
can I
description.
interject something real quick before you go?
Yeah, sure.
Listen, I want to say I think that this conversation, it seems like it is getting a little bit lost in a circular argument, simply because
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like we're talking about a foundational thing. So y'all are kind of arguing saying the same thing, but also arguing opposite things. I think, for instance, if we're talking about God, we have to keep in mind that God gives us all free will, right? If we believe in the concept of free will, we all have free will. And so anything that another person does to you that takes away your free will, or that makes their free will more dominant than your free will, is wrong, simply for the fact that it goes against the plan or the process that God created for us. So, for instance, slavery is a process where someone else forces another person to work against their will, right? With threat.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Are you actually a Christian?
Am I a Christian? No, I don't adhere to any one religion.
Well, you can still.
I study multiple religions.
Just a second question. Do you actually appeal to? Do you think God is real? I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, since this is mostly a 1v1, I don't want to turn this into 2v1. I'll be leaving. Thanks for having me on, host. Thank you for actually not like.
Before you leave though, do you agree that we have free will?
Yeah, I have no disagreement on that.
Okay, so do you think that it's wrong for someone else to take your free will away from you?
Yeah, because it violates God's will.
Right, and so then that's why slavery is wrong, because slavery is taking someone's free will away from them. So it doesn't have anything to do with you needing to care if it's wrong or not. If we're using the foundation that God gives us free will, then we can all agree that it's wrong for someone to take our free will. That's all I want to say.
I entirely agree with that. But
For sure.
that does. Yeah.
But we're still running.
Anyways,
No problem. I'll see you later, Gil.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Appreciate you. All right, but Jehovah, I think your name is
Jaboan.
Jaboan. Yeah, the problem with it is that God actually said to go ahead, that they can go ahead and do slavery. So if it goes against his will if it goes against his will for others to take away people's will, why did he tell people to take away other people's will then?
Right. No, I agree. So now we get into, I guess, the difference between God and the Bible. Now, the Bible says God told people to put people into slavery. I don't necessarily agree that the Bible is God or 100% the Word of God. To me, I don't think that any understanding or any idea or any concept of God would ever okay slavery. That's something that's specifically in the version of the Bible that we read today. So I agree with you on that. I don't think that God would ever say that slavery is okay.
So we can't follow the Bible to know what God's word actually is, or what we actually follow.
Yeah, I think you can. I think we can follow the Bible. I think the problem comes into play where we take any man-made book as 100% truth, as gospel, right? And I say this a lot. Oftentimes I'll talk to Christians and I'll be, well, you understand that the book you're reading is man-made, right? Well, yeah, so is every book is man-made. And yes, that's a great point, which is why we should not take any book, whether it's a history book, whether it's a religious book. All books have some truth and some falseness or some untruth to it. So I think the bigger picture is that when you can learn from different ideologies or different schools of thought, you have more knowledge and more consciousness to put things together and understand what's true and what's not maybe the most true.
So why would we follow any of the Bible if we don't know which part of it is God's word and which part isn't? Like there'll be no point in doing that. Might as well just dump the whole thing.
For sure. I think that when you study other religions, other concepts and ideas of God in general, I feel like it helps you to understand the Bible more, and then you can discern and decipher what's true and what's not. For instance, I could I'm a dancer, right? And I could be like, yo, this is this dance move right here. And I could do some shit and just completely make up some stuff and tell you, because you're not a dancer, I could tell you, and you just have no choice but to believe me, because you have no consciousness, you have no conscious knowledge to know any better. But if you go off and you study with 20 more dancers, 100 more dancers, and now you come back and you talk to me, you'll know if I'm bullshitting or if I'm telling the truth because now you have more knowledge to build your discernment from. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. That all
So,
makes.
yeah, so the same thing goes for religion. When you go back and you study religions from all around the world, and you study science and you study all the things that make up existence, whether it be mathematics, science, religion, God, whatever the case is, it helps you to get more knowledge and more understanding to come back and understand what parts of the Bible are true and what parts may not be true.
All right. So like yeah, sure. I do agree with that. There are parts of the Bible where we know was things that actually happened. Like King David was a real person. Saul was a real person. The kingdom of Israel was real. Kingdom of Moab was real. The Assyrians and the Hittites, all that. Those are all groups that existed. Solomon. We know Solomon was a real person. There was a Solomon's temple. Even these prophets were probably real people walking around. You know what I mean? Isaiah was probably a real guy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, sure. We can do that, and we know that the Pharisees were an actual thing, et cetera, et cetera. But when it comes to the supernatural claims of the Bible, there's no way to know that those are real. So there's no reason to take those as true, because other religions have supernatural claims as well. Yeah, I mean, so why are we gonna take them all as true? Because they can't all be true, but they can all be false.
Why can't they all be true?
They can all be true because they will contradict each other, because the Bible has one date of when the world was started and how many gods there are, and the Bhagavad Gita has another date of when the world started and how many gods there are, and the Book of Shinto has another date of what happens in the afterlife, or if there is an afterlife, of when what gods they are, and when did the world start. Same thing with Jainism. They all have different dates. They all have different gods. They all have different afterlives. They all have different concepts of what a soul is and what it does. So they can't all be true unless all the gods are real and they just took over certain parts of the world, which makes no sense to
Yeah,
do.
no, I agree. But that's the thing I was talking about. So like, I think when you study, I guess just the general concept of theology, right, and different religions. So a lot of the Eastern religions, coming from Africa, coming from Asia, when you look at them, they all have different deities or different names of God. I'm using air quotes, gods, so to speak. But when you really get into studying those religions and philosophies, those gods and those deities all represent specific ideas. So some of them represent like just simple like, do you know what? Sorry, I'm at the bank right now. It's a little beeping going. Do you know what universal laws are?
Universal laws, in in what sense?
Sorry, hold on a second. Let me pause.
Jesse, you still there?
My bad. Hold on.
Not a problem.
Loud ass thing.
Not a
My
problem.
bad. Stop letting it go for a sec. I'm trying to shut this machine off.
Yeah, not a problem. I just have another guest. Hey, Jesse, are
Okay.
you there? Are you still there, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. I didn't want to take over the whole thing. I want to let you talk for a little bit.
No, you're fine. I think that I don't think learning other religions is a too terrible of a thing. I think when it comes to children, I don't think children should be exposed to any religion, any aspect of any religion. I think in 2024 to be to confide in religion to determine human value. Hey, Sultan. To determine human value and to determine law. I think there's a level of critical thinking necessary that developing children should not be exposed to any religion to already set that bias for. So I think maybe sure as an adult when exploring these religions to explore where morality stems from. I think that's one thing when when you make that decision and you have the critical thinking skills necessary. But as far as children doing it, and trying to discover who they are, and trying to set some sort of moral framework, I don't think it's a good idea for them to be exposed in any. And I mean like saying grace, prayer, Sunday school, anything like that. I think it's a bad idea. And I think in some cases, adults even doing that. I think the reasoning for a lot of people, them wanting to study other religions to prove theirs more true, I don't think is a good thing to do. I think exploring other religions to question it, to give scrutiny to it, I think would make more sense, especially when we have a religion again. a lot of people are using to determine human value within our society, and that they're using to determine laws and policies, I think is definitely up for scrutiny. I don't think examining other religions is something that would be productive in that sense, because it's definitely up for scrutiny when people use something it's not objective fact.
Mhm.
There's so many contradictions that we can't explain. I don't think something like that should. I can understand people giving it scrutiny from all ends.
Mhm.
Like, if why should we believe this when we don't even? Why would God do that to Adam and Eve? Why would He rage quit and flood the world? Why would He do all these things? All the things that people try to exclude from their Bible, or what a lot of people call cherry picking. If we can cherry pick it, then why on earth should we be following it as like some sort of law? That's my thing, and I don't think exploring other religions for the sake of proving one religion good or bad or right or wrong would be productive.
Right. Yeah. I don't mind. That's what I would say. I don't mind exploring religions like as in an academic sense, and if you expose children to it, like this is if you say like, hey, this is what these people believe, this is what these people believe, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think that's a much of an issue as well. Like I get that, but like to prove or disprove in any of them, like yeah, I'm not sure about that. That probably is not the best idea.
Right.
Yeah. Finish what you were saying. Jabwin.
Yeah. No, I forgot exactly where we left off in the conversation. Do you remember the last question you asked me, or?
We were at it's like as in an academic
Give me a
sense,
second.
and if you
Or yeah, no problem.
we
I'm off here though. Thanks for having me up.
yeah, not a
I'll
problem.
be around. I'm always listening to your lives. I appreciate you bringing me up.
Yeah, of course.
Y'all take care.
Me too, man. All right, so I think we were at you said that those gods represent more ideas
Oh,
than
yeah,
anything
yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, so I just was basically saying that a lot of these religions that we
What's up, Jay?
do look at as different or contradictory in a way, a lot of them are actually saying the same things when we look at the foundation of what they're saying, because a lot of them are stories or allegories that are written to kind of give personification to ideas, things like sciences, things like mathematics, things like the universal laws. And so when we're looking at them like at face value, we're like, oh, well, this story says something different. But that's why I think it's important to actually study the religions as opposed to just, looking at them at face value, because you can't always tell what the religion stands for when you look at it at face value.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Like the deities of most religions are basically stand for certain ideas. Yeah, and I would say the same thing for the Abrahamic religions. They're just for certain ideas. Like Yahweh was a deity of storms and war. I mean that's what he was until he became the natural patron of the Israelites. So yeah, I could I could agree with that. Yeah, I mean it's just that
I've
none of
never
this.
heard that before. Can you elaborate on that? You said Yahweh was the God of what?
He was the god of storms and war.
Storms and war. Okay.
Yeah, because the ancient Israelites were polytheists. Like Yahweh became
Okay.
the main god that they worship, but like for hundreds of years they were polytheists. They worshiped a bunch of gods, and Yahweh was just one of the main ones they worship. Like you know how the Greeks have a main Greek pantheon like Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Hera,
Yeah.
Athena, etc. They're the main ones, but there's also the god of mischief, the god of the night, the god of shadows. You know what I mean? They had other gods too, but they were more minor. The main ones, like the god of the ocean, the god of the sky, the god of fertility, stuff like that. They were the main ones that they worshipped. You feel me? So like the Israelites, they had a god of the sky, they had a god of fathers and everything like that. And the god of storms and war was Yahweh. And because it was at a time when Israel was going through a lot of crisis and stuff like that, like going to war with everybody, they had to worship Yahweh more and more because they were at war all the time. You see what I mean? So that's how
Yeah,
Yahweh became the main one, and he became like
for sure. That makes
he became
that makes
amalgamated
sense.
with
I never
Asherah,
heard
with
that
El,
specific
with
thing.
Baal. Yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah, I say he became amalgamated, like he got combined with El, with Adonai, with Asherah, with all those people, and he became the main god of the Israelites.
That's dope. That's dope. That's good to know. I never heard that specific aspect of it, so I'm gonna look into that specific aspect more.
Yeah, definitely.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you should definitely
But
pick
yeah,
up some books by a scholar named Dan McClellan, and another. I'm gonna butcher her name, but it starts with an S. Scarfatuvo. Oh my god, I butchered that. But if you look up Dan McClellan on this app, he'll show you what the books are that shows you
Dab McClellan.
Dan McClellan, DAN.
Dan McClellan.
Yeah, last name is McClean.
Got you. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, not a problem. Anyway, you got anything else
No
for me?
doubt.
Because I'm
I
about to get out of here.
Slide out, but I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna catch you later.
Not a problem. You have a good one.
Peace.
All right, y'all. So it was quite a night. I think I got through all the guests. Let me take a look. Yeah, I think I got through all the guests. I do apologize if I missed anyone, but I did get through all the guests. Again, this week I'm doing religion. Next week I'm gonna be back on politics. So next Sunday you could join me when I'm doing politics again. But this week is gonna be religion all week. I'm gonna be doing either this topic or another one. I appreciate everybody being here. Again, TikTok may be ending soon. I do have a YouTube page. Go ahead and go to my the link tree in my bio. You'll see my YouTube on there. And for while TikTok is here, we're gonna be riding to the wheels fall off on TikTok. I'll be uploading a lot of these highlights, the best ones that I can find. If I think that they were just not good highlights, and I won't promote them. Probably won't promote it for like the last couple discussions. But again, I do appreciate everybody being here. I did get through all of the guests, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. We got 10.2k likes. Let's try to make it 20k next time, guys. So again, I appreciate you all being here. Follow my YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube, because again, TikTok is gonna end soon. So I'm gonna be doing this on YouTube as well. And again, I have a Facebook. Go in my link tree. My Facebook should be on there. My Instagram is on there. Y'all follow me. I'm gonna be uploading a lot of these highlights. I already have a video out right now. A video can come out tomorrow, and we're gonna have some more. I'm gonna be doing more political debates as well. So if you guys want to go ahead and join for those, go ahead and join those. But I am gonna be getting out of here, guys. I appreciate everybody that's here, and y'all have a good night. Peace out.